All right. So these are two Torah portions. I think meron lang. Dali lang Good. Pakita ko na din yung isa. Unskip slide. All right. So we got Behar and Beku Kotai. So yan po yung division niya. Leviticus 25 verse 1 to chapter 26 verse 2. And yung Beku Kotai, or sometimes it's called Bekutai only. Hindi ko alam. I'm not a Hebrew speaker, but it's actually in my statutes, and that's the start of the Torah portions in chapter 26. So Brother Ivan, may you do the honor of reading chapter 25, 26, and Brother Gary, please read chapter 27.
Okay. Good morning po ulit. Let's go to Wayikra chapter 25. Verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Yashael, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto Yahweh. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Shabbat of rest unto the land, a Shabbat for Yahweh. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard. That which groweth of each own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine and rest, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourneth with thee, and for thy cattle, and for the beasts that are in thy land, and all the increase thereof be meat. Verse 8. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. 49. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you. And ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, or gather the grapes in it of thy vine and rest. For it is the jubilee. It shall be kodesh unto you. Ye shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this jubilee you shall return every man unto his possession. And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbors, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, you shall not oppress one another. According to the number of years after the jubilee thou shalt buy of thy neighbor, and according unto the number of years of the fruits he shall sell unto thee. According to the multitude of years thou shalt increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of years thou shalt diminish the price of it. For according to the number of the years of the fruits that he sell unto thee. Verse 17. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy Elohim, for I am Yahweh your Elohim. Wherefore ye shall do my statutes, and guard my judgments, and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land in safety. And the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill, and dwell therein in safety. And ye shall say, What shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. Then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. And ye shall sow the 8th year, and eat yet of old fruit until the 9th year, until her fruits come in ye shall eat of the old store. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for you are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of your possession ye shall grant a redemption for the land. If thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that hath bought it until the year of Jubilee. And in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return unto his possession. And if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. Within a full year may he redeem it. And if it be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it, and throughout his generation it shall not go out in the Jubilee. Verse 31. But the houses of the villages which have no wall round about them shall be counted as the fields of the country. They may be redeemed, and they shall go out in the Jubilee. Notwithstanding, the cities of the Levites and the houses of the cities of their possession may the Levites redeem at any time. And if a man purchase of the Levites, then the house that was sold and the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Jubilee. For the houses of the cities and the Levites are their possession among the children of Yashael. But the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession among the children of Yashael. But the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is, verse 35, and if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy Elohim, and thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. I am Yahweh your Elohim, which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your Elohim. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel with him to serve as a bondservant, but as an hired servant, and as a sojourner, he shall be with thee, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and to the possession of his father shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy Elohim. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen. They are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Yashael, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. And if a sojourner or a stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again, one of his brethren may redeem him. Either his uncle or his uncle's sons may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him of his family may redeem him, or if he be able, he may redeem himself. And he shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold to him unto the year of Jubilee, and the price of his sale shall be according unto the number of years, according to the time of an hired servant shall it be with him. If there be yet many years behind, according unto them, he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. And if there remain but few years unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall count with him, and according unto his years shall he give him again the price of his redemption. 53. And as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not rule with rigor over him in thy sight. And he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of Jubilee, both he and his children with him. For unto me the children of Yashael are servants. They are my servants whom I brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Chapter 26. Ye shall make no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Ye shall guard my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahuwah. If ye walk in my statutes and guard my commandments and do them, then I will give you the rain in due season. And the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time. And ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And ye shall eat old store, and bring forth the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you, and will be your Elohim, and ye shall be my people. Amen. And I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, that ye should not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke, and made you go up right. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye will despise my statutes, and your soul abhor my mishpatim, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning egg that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and you shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemy shall eat it. 17. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. And if ye will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. And if you walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. And I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate. And if ye will not be reformed by me by these things, but will contrary unto me, then will I also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins. And I will bring a sword upon you, that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send a pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, then woman shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and ye shall eat and not be satisfied. And if you will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury. I will chastise you 7 times for your sins. And you shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. And I will destroy your high places, and cut down your images, and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my soul shall not, and my soul shall abhor you. And I will make your cities waste, and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors. And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate, and ye be in your enemy's land, even then shall the land rest, and enjoy her Sabbaths. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths, when ye dwelt upon it. And upon them that are yet left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies, and the sound of a shaking left shall chase them, and they shall flee as fleeing from a sword, and they shall fall when none pursue it. Verse 37, and they shall fall one upon another, as it were before a sword, when one pursue it, and ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies, and ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquity in your enemies' lands, and also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them. If they shall confess their iniquity, and the iniquity of their fathers, with their trespass, which they trespass against me, and also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto you, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Yitzhak, and also my covenant with Abraham. Will I remember? I will remember the land. The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgment, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, to break my covenant with them, for I am Yahweh, your Elohim. But I will, for their sakes, remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Mizraim, in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their Elohim. I am Yahweh. Last verse. These are the statutes and judgments and Torah, which Yahweh made between him and the children of Yashael in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moshe. Praise Yahweh upon the reading of his holy word. Amen.
Amen. Let's continue. Wayikra chapter 27, verse 1, and Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yazrael, and say unto them, When a man shall make a singular vow, the person shall be for Yahweh by thy estimation. And thy estimation shall be of the male from 20 years old, even unto 60 years old. Even thy estimation shall be 50 shekels of silver after the shekel of the sanctuary. And if it be a female, then the estimation shall be 30 shekels. And if it be from 5 years old, even unto 20 years old, then the estimation shall be of the male 20 shekels, for the female 10 shekels. And if it be from a month old, even unto 5 years old, then the estimation shall be of the male 5 shekels of silver, and for the female thy estimation shall be 3 shekels of silver. And if it be from 60 years old and above, if it be a male, then thy estimation shall be 15 shekels, and for the female 10 shekels. But if it be poorer than thy estimation, then he shall present himself before the priest, and the priest shall value him according to his ability. That vowed shall the Kohen value him. And if it be a beast whereof men bring an offering unto Yahweh, and all that any man giveth of such unto Yahweh shall be holy. He shall not alter it, nor change it, a good for bad, or a bad for good. And if he shall at all change beast for beast, then it and the exchange thereof shall be holy. And if it be any unclean beast, of which they do not offer a sacrifice unto Yahweh, then he shall present the beast before the Kohen. And the Kohen shall value it, whether it be good or bad, as thou valuest it, who art the Kohen, so shall it be. But if he will at all redeem it, then he shall add a fifth part thereof unto thy estimation. And when a man shall sanctify his house to be holy unto Yahweh, then the Kohen shall estimate it, whether it be good or bad, as the Kohen shall estimate it, so shall it stand. And if he that sanctified it will redeem his house, then he shall add the fifth part of the money of thy estimation unto it, and it shall be his. And if a man shall sanctify unto Yahweh some part of the field of his possession, then the estimation shall be according to the seed thereof, and homer of barley seed shall be valued at 50 shekels of silver. If he sanctify his field from the year of Jubilee, according to thy estimation, it shall stand. But if he sanctify his field after the Jubilee, then the priest, the Kohen, shall reckon unto him the money, according to the years that remain, even unto the year of the Jubilee, and it shall be abated from thy estimation. And if he that sanctified the field will in any wise redeem it, then he shall add the fifth part of the money of thy estimation unto it, and it shall be assured to him. And if he will not redeem the field, or if he have sold the field to another man, it shall not be redeemed any more. But the field, when it goeth out in the Jubilee, shall be holy unto Yahweh, as a field devoted. The possession thereof shall be the Kohen's. And if a man sanctify unto Yahweh a field which he hath bought, which is not of the fields of his possession, then the Kohen shall reckon unto him the worth of thy estimation, even unto the year of the Jubilee, and he shall give thine estimation in that day as a holy thing unto Yahweh. In the year of the Jubilee, the field shall return unto him of whom it was bought, even to him to whom the possession of the land did belong. And all thy estimations shall be according to the shekel of the sanctuary. 20 gerah shall be the shekel. Only the firstling of the beast, which should be Yahweh's firstling, no man shall sanctify it. Whether it be ox or sheep, it is Yahweh's. And if it be of an unclean beast, then he shall redeem it according to thine estimation, and shall add a fifth part of it thereto. Or if it be not redeemed, then it shall be sold according to thy estimation. Notwithstanding, no devoted thing that a man shall devote unto Yahweh of all that he had, both of a man and beast, and of the field of his possession, shall be sold or redeemed. Every devoted thing is most holy unto Yahweh. None devoted which shall be devoted of men shall be redeemed, but shall surely be put to death. And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is Yahweh's. It is holy unto Yahweh. And if a man will at all redeem out of his tithes, he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof. And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto Yahweh. He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall be changed it. And if he change it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy, it shall not be redeemed. Last verse. These are the commandments which Yahweh commanded Moshe for the children of Yazrael in Mount Sinai. Hallelujah. Praise Yahweh upon the reading of his holy word.
All right, let's go to Yahweh in prayer. Our Father Yahweh, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Elohim, Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Our Elohim, our Abba, our Creator, our Master, our Redeemer, our Savior, the Holy One of Yasharel. Father, we thank you for this beautiful morning, this beautiful day that you have given us. Maraming salamat, Panginoon, sa araw na muli kami makapag-observe ng Sabbath. Salamat, Panginoon, sa iyong salita na patuloy na nagtuturo sa amin. At tunay nga po ang sinabi ng aking kapatid kanina na simula nung kami po ay nag-Sabbath, ay napakadami po naming natutunan. And dalangin ko, Panginoon, na muli, please open our eyes that we may behold wondrous things out of thy Torah. I pray, Father, please give me the right words to say. Dalangin ko, Panginoon, please organize my thoughts. And I pray, dear Father, that everything that we will discuss, everything that we have read, and everything that we will study this morning will be maging kapaki-pakinabang, Panginoon, sa aming mga buhay. At matutunan namin, Panginoon, hindi lang head knowledge, kundi i-apply namin sa aming mga buhay. May mga bagay na maaring iniisip namin na hindi naman applicable sa amin. Unang-una, wala naman po kami mga lupa. Ngunit, dalangin ko, Panginoon, na makita namin yung spiritual value ng aming mga pag-aaralan. Makita namin, Panginoon, kung bakit mo inutos ang mga bagay na ito, kung bakit mo dinesign ng ganito. I pray, dear Father, please help us to grasp your mind. As you have said in your word, let this mind be in us, which was also in Yahushua HaMashiach. I pray, dear Father, na maunawaan namin ang mga ituturo mo sa amin ngayong umaga. Please guide us, Brother Gary, Brother Ivan, and to the rest of our listeners. Dalangin ko, Panginoon, na ikaw po ang patuloy na manguna sa amin. Let the Ruach HaKodesh guide us into all truth. May He be our teacher. And we pray, dear Father, na maging fruitful po ang araw na ito sa aming pag-aaral ng inyong salita. Ikaw po ang patuloy na kumilos sa aming mga mahal sa buhay, sa aming mga kapatiran dati. Kasama namin dati, Panginoon, sa ministry, na bulag pa din sa katotohanan ng iyong salita. I pray, dear Father, please help us to be a light unto them. Please help us, Father, to show love sa aming mga buhay. Makita, Panginoon, nawa ang Torah sa aming mga buhay upang makita ng iba ang liwanag na itinuturo mo sa amin. At dalangin ko, Panginoon, na ikaw po ang patuloy na kumilos sa aming mga buhay at sa buhay nila upang sila po ay maliwanagan din ng iyong salita katulad ng liwanag na nakikita namin ngayon. Maraming salamat, Panginoon, and we praise you. It is a good thing to give you thanks, and it is a good thing to praise you, Father. Maraming salamat for everything that you have done in our lives. We're 1 week away from another Gregorian year that will pass. Dalangin ko, Panginoon, na ikaw pa rin po ang manguna sa amin as we enter the wilderness, as we study about the wilderness next week. Dalangin ko, Panginoon, na tulungan mo kami na ma-maximize namin ang oras to sa pag-aaral na tapusin, Panginoon, ang book ng Wayikra. Maraming salamat, Panginoon. Please keep us away from sin, and we commit the rest of the day into your hands. We bless you and we glorify your most holy name, Yahuwah, and we praise you. Thank you for everything. We pray all of these things in Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen and amen. All right. So, marami po tayong itatakel sa ating pagbabasa at pag-awit. Halos 1 oras na po tayo. But just going back to our Torah portion, we'll start with Behar, and it means in the mountain. All right? Napakaganda lang pong unawain ito dahil bakit po in the mountain? Because when you start chapter 25, yan po makikita nyo dun sa verse 1 pa lang nakasulat dyan, and Yahweh spake unto Moshe in the mountain of Sinai. All right? Now, this is very important dahil ito pong Sinai or Sinai ay napaka-importanting bundok. Saan natin ito nakita? Alright? In Exodus chapter 19, kung saan unang nagpakita po ang Panginoon ng kanyang glory sa mga sa mga Israelites. He did show His power in Egypt. He did show Himself to prophets and our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Pero to a chosen people, dito po unang nagpakita ng Panginoon ang kanyang glory. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 19. Exodus chapter 19. And if we go back to Exodus chapter 19, let's just jump to verse 10. Okay? Sabi po dyan, And Yahweh said unto Moshe, go unto the people and sanctify them, kadosh them, set them apart today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. Verse 11, and be ready against the third day, for the third day Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. All right, so basically, chapter 19, chapter 20, pinag-aralan po natin yan kung saan binigay yung 10 commandments. And we can also see that Nadab and Abihu was here bago po makaakyat si Moshe dun sa tuktok ng mountain. Nandun po sila sa kalagitnaan ng mountain. And the elders, Nadab and Abihu, saw the glory of Yahweh. Now, this is important. Why? Because, sabi dito sa verse 2, speak unto the children of Yasharel and say unto them, when you come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto Yahweh. Now think about this. From Exodus, saan nagpakita ang Panginoon? In Mount Sinai. All right? Then we move to the book of Leviticus. At even in Exodus, when Yahweh asked them to prepare their offerings for what? For the Mishkan. Because the Mishkan was it was to recreate the experience in Mount Sinai. All right? Kasi yung sa Mount Sinai, that was one-time experience. And then, sabi ng Panginoon, gawin nyo to para makasama ko kayo. Remember, when He asked them to make a Mishkan, sabi niya that I may dwell with them. Now, if you see the analogy, actually, I just put there the word Behar, para makita nyo lang din yung otyot niya, because Beit means a house. Alright? Top view po yan ng house. And makikita mo, parang pinapakita sa atin, remember, yung ating principles in figuring out an otyot is the first and last letters. So the external letters is a house and a head. Alright? So basically, it shows us na dapat yung ating nasa isip ay parang yung house ng alin? Ng Espiritu ng Panginoon. And the Behar, which means the mountain, makikita natin na doon nagpakita ang Panginoon sa Mount Sinai. So basically, we can, if that was the first instance where Yahweh showed His glory, at kailan siya uling nagpakita? Sa Leviticus, nung in-inaugurate nila yung priests and in-inaugurate nila yung Mishkan. Remember that? So makikita natin, in the Mount Sinai experience, they experience Yahweh's glory. And then, the Mishkan recreates that experience within the camp. But remember, in the camp, that was only temporary. Doon sa Mishkan, that was temporary. And when you go to the book of Leviticus, sasabihin niya doon, kapag inutos niya uli ang mga bagay na to, because Deuteronomy is a repetition of everything that He commanded in Exodus, Leviticus, and also in Numbers. And kumbaga, yun yung huling paalala. Devarim is a book na kung saan that was already the 40th year in the wilderness and papasok na sila sa promised land, pinapaalalahanan sila ng Panginoon. But take note, dito po sa Leviticus, makikita natin sa chapter 25, ang sabi niya in verse 2, sabihin mo sa mga anak ng mga Israelita, say unto them, kapag nakapasok kayo doon sa land na ibibigay ko sa inyo. So basically, makikita nyo na parang ano po ito. Katulad nung Sabbats na pinag-aralan natin, kung naalala nyo yung drawing ko na may maliit na kotse, tapos palaki yung kotse hanggang nandun na, yung totoong kotse na. And it's basically, look at this. Kasi Yahweh, first, nagpakita siya sa Mount Sinai. And sabi niya, i-repeat natin yung experience na yun in the Mishkan, and we studied all the Kodesh things that needs to be done in the Mishkan. And then, sabi niya, kapag pumasok kayo dun sa lupa, na ito na po yung mas malaking responsibilidad. Alright? Mas malaking domain. And we're talking about space. Nakasulat ba dun sa taas? Naalala niyo yung concept natin ng time and space? This is talking about space, and the land of Yasharel is Yahweh's space. Paano ko nasabi yun? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 25, verse 23. Very important verse. Mark that verse. Circle that verse. Sabi po ng scriptures, the land shall not be sold forever. Take note of that principle. Dahil pag pinag-aralan natin yung binabasa nating Jubilee, but it's actually Yovel. Alright? Pag plural, Yovelim. Kaya nga po pag tinignan nyo sa inyong mga Etsefer, nakasulat Yovelim. Yung Jubilee po, galing po yan sa Latin word na Jubilee something. Pero ang totoong word po niyan in the Hebrew is Yovel. And it's called Yovelim. Alright? So Yovel, and it actually does not mean 50 years. Yung Jubilee sa English natin, iniisip natin 50 years. Okay? Pero yung Yovel means something else. Bigay ko sa inyo mamaya. I think it's in my notes. Yovel has something to do with sounding the trumpet and celebrating something. Okay? So yun po ang ibig sabihin ng Yovel. Pero makikita niyo po ang Panginoon dito in, let's go back to chapter 20, saan na ba tayo? 25 verse 23. This is a very important principle. Sabi ng Panginoon, the land shall not be sold forever. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, pag binasa natin yung chapter 25, may mga naghihirap po na kailangan nilang ibenta ang kanilang mga lupa. Kung maalala nyo yung kwento ni Ruth, na kung saan ni-redeem ni Boaz yung lupa ni Elimelech, na asawa ni Naomi, yan po ay, yung paraan ng pagbenta ay is to help their kinsmen, yung kanilang mga kamag-anak. Pero sabi ng Panginoon, hindi nyo dapat ibibenta yung lupa. Bakit? Sabi niya, dahil yung lupa sa akin yan. Hindi sa inyo yan. Pinahiram lang sa inyo ng Panginoon yan. Alright? Napaka-importanting principle para maintindihan natin ang concept ng 7th year Sabbath and then ng Yovel. The 7th year Sabbath is called Shemitah and Yovel is the Jubilee na binabasa natin. Sabi niya dyan, for you are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of your possession, you shall grant a redemption for the land. Kailangan matuto kayong ibalik. Alright? Kasi yan po yung utos doon sa Yobel. Kapag binenta yung lupa sa inyo, pagdating ng Yobel ng Panginoon, kailangan po yan ibalik. Now, maraming tao might question this principle dahil sabihin nila, binenta na sa akin, di sa akin na yan. Pero kung iisipin mo, balikan natin yung principle ng Panginoon. Sabi ng Panginoon, hindi mo pwedeng ibenta yung land forever. Bakit? Hindi naman sa iyo yan eh. Pinagamit yan sa iyo ng Panginoon and pagdating ng 50th year, after 7 times 7 sabbatical years, the first year, yung cycle, okay, so 50th year siya, pero first year uli siya ng panibagong cycle. Naintindihan nyo? So, hindi siya 50 years, tapos cycle uli. So, yung 50th year is the first year uli. So, magkapatong po yung first year, saka yung 50th year. Parang yung 8th day, yan din yung first day. So, sabi ng Panginoon, pagdating ng Yovel, kailangan yung ibalik yung lupa. Kung binenta nyo man, ibabalik nyo doon. And we'll talk about that later on. But take a look at that illustration, kasi from Mount Sinai, makikita nyo palaki ng palaki. Lalo na pagdating sa land of Israel, from the Mishkan to the land of Israel, parang training ground. Di ba? Palaki ng palaki. Kailangan marunong kayo na mag-manage nung ibibigay ko sa inyo at para magkasama din tayo. Alright? Now, next one is, we can see in the past lesson that we talked about Moedim. Tama? We're talking about the Sabbath day, 6 days labor, 7th day rest. Ngayon dito sa chapter 25, we're talking about the Sabbath year. 6 years of sowing, pruning, and gathering, and sabi ng Panginoon, on the 7th year rest. So, let's try to analyze this. Okay? Unawain natin. Verse 4, chapter 25, verse 4. Sabi po dyan, Basahin ko na sa verse 3. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard and gather in the fruit thereof. Makikita mo parang ang Panginoon nagbibigay ng instruction, parang magulang na nagbibigay ng instruction na dun sa verse 2, sabi niya, pag pumasok kayo dun sa lupa, ito ang gagawin ninyo, ha? Ito yung kailangan yung gawin. So, sabi niya, 6 years, tapos na tayo dun sa Sabbath days, taon naman ang pag-usapan natin. Verse 4, but in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest. So kung naintindihan natin yung Sabbath days, dapat maintindihan din natin yung Sabbath years. Alright? Kasi mas mahaba lang. Kumbaga, yung microscope view, yun yung Sabbath days. Yung macroscope view, yun yung Sabbath years. And may mas malaki pa dyan because meron yung thousands of years naman na plano ng Panginoon. So, sabi niya dito, verse 5, that which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourneth with thee. So basically, ang sinasabi po dito, hindi mo pwedeng gawin pang negosyo yung Sabbath year. The fruits that will come out of the trees, the fruits that will, the grain that will come out of thy land will be meat for you. Pero sabi niya, pagpahingahin niyo yung lupa. Alright? Hindi niyo lalagyan ng mga, hindi niyo yung katulad ng effort na nilalagay niyo within the 6 years. And I believe it's easier to understand this if we know the concept of the Sabbath days. Okay? So basically, sinasabi ng Panginoon, pagpahingahin niyo yung lupa. Verse 7, sabi diyan, and for thy cattle and for the beasts that are in thy land shall all the increase thereof be meat. So malinaw naman po ang instruction, pero parang mahirap gawin. Tama? Parang mahirap gawin kasi isang taon, hindi natin gagalawin yung lupa. Pero sabi ng Panginoon, yan yung instruction eh. Alright? Now, dali lang ha. Hindi ko nakikita yung ginawa ko eh. Ano na nangyari? Wait lang po. Bababa ko lang to. Lagay natin si gilid. Alright. Okay. So, ayan na yung tanong. Kasi, magtatanong talaga tayo. Kaya tayo magtatanong eh. So, sinagot na yan ng Panginoon. Let's jump to verse 20. Dadaanan natin ulit yan, yung mga verses na in-skip natin. So, yung tanong, paano yun? Kasi hindi tayo magtatrabaho. So sabi dyan, and if you shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Di ba? Ang galing ng Panginoon. Sinagot niya agad. Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. Then, sabi ng Panginoon sa verse 21, I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. Now, take note of these. Kasi alam ko sa inyo, inisip nyo, hindi naman applicable sa amin yan. Kasi unang-una, wala naman kaming lupa eh. Pero pag-aralan muna natin. Balikan natin sila, isipin natin, nandun tayo sa tayo ng mga Israelites. Let's understand the principles that are being taught. Kasi posible na meron tayong mga ginagawa ngayon kung bakit tayo walang lupa is because we have done the things that they were supposed to do. Alright? So sabi niya, iko-command ko yung blessing on the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit 3 years. Verse 22, and you shall sow the 8th year, and eat yet all the old fruit until the 9th year, until her fruits come in, you shall eat the old store. So napakaganda ng pangako, di ba? Sabi ng Panginoon, alam kong tatanungin niyo yan, anong kakainin namin on the 7th year? Sabi ng Panginoon, huwag kayong mag-alala dahil ako ang magko-command mismo ng blessing. Now remember, Malachi chapter 3, he even said there that he will rebuke the devourer for your sakes. Matuto lang kayong magbigay, matuto lang kayong sumunod sa salita ng Panginoon. Ang problema kasi, meron tayong mga sariling ideology kung paano tayo dumidiskarte. Sabi ng Panginoon, dun sa 6 years, gawin nyo yan. Doon kung paano nyo didiskarte yan. And there are a lot of businessmen that do this. So, may magaling sa business, those first 6 years, you can do that. Pero sabi niya, on the 7th year, make my land rest, and then on the 8th and 9th year, ay pagpapalain ng Panginoon. Iko-command ng Panginoon yung pagpapala. And verse 23, pinaalala sa kanila, hindi nyo pwedeng ibenta yung lupa forever. Alright? So I hope you're following. Okay. So ngayon, yung in-skip nating verses is about the Yovel. That's verse 9 onwards. So makikita natin, 8 onwards. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbath of years unto thee 7 times 7 years. And the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. So ayan na po yung calculation. So 49 years. And sabi dyan in verse 9, then shall thou cause the shofar of the Yovel to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. This is Yom Kippur. In the day of Kippur shall you make the shofar sound throughout all your land. And you shall sanctify, you shall kadosh the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. So basically, itong year of Yovel, balikan to ng lupa. Kahit binili mo pa yung lupa, kailangan mong ibalik kung kanino mo binili. Alright? It's a year of, actually, we can call it a year of reset. Now, we may be thinking, parang unfair naman yun kasi binili ko. Now, take note, balik tayo dun sa verse 23. Hindi sa inyo yung lupa. Hindi dun sa mga Israelita yung lupa. Pinahiram lang ng Panginoon yung lupa. Pero, nakikita natin, binasa natin in chapter 26, napakadaming blessing. And napakadami ding curse. So, ito yung instruction ng Panginoon with regards to Yovel and with regards to the Sabbath years. So, makikita natin dyan in verse 11, verse 10, sabi dyan, it shall be a Yovel unto you, and you shall return every man unto his possession, and you shall return every man unto his family. A Yovel shall that 50th year be unto you. You shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of thy vine undressed. For it is the Yovel, it shall be Kodesh unto you. You shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this Yovel, you shall return every man unto his possession. And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, all right? So kung nagkaroon ng bentahan between that 50 years, sabi niya dyan, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, you shall not oppress one another. Hindi nyo dapat pinag-aawayan yung lupa. Alright? So, napakagandang pag-aralan nito dahil when you read the prophets, ito ang isang problema ng Panginoon na nangyari sa mga children of Israel, sa mga Israelites. Because they quarreled about the land, and to think, ay nangyayari din po yan ngayon. So, nabasa na natin yan. Yovel, ayan po yung meaning ng Yovel, a shofar blast of liberty. And it happens every 50th year in Yahuwah's timeline. Okay. So, ang instructions po, papunta doon sa neighbor na nakikabentahan, sabi niya, pagdating ng Yovel, you shall return every man unto his possession. Verse 14, sabi niya, you shall not oppress one another. And then in verse 17, inulit na naman niya, you shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy Elohim. So basically, alam nyo, napaka-rampant nito ngayon, yung pinag-aawayan yung lupa. Pero sabi ng Panginoon, hindi nyo dapat pinag-aawayan ng lupa, hindi nyo dapat pinapahirapan ng isa't isa dahil sa mga lupa, dahil unang-una, hindi naman talaga sa inyo yan. Alright? Sabi niya, thou shalt fear thy Elohim, for I am Yahuwah thy Elohim. So, instructions ng Panginoon in verse 18, wherefore you shall do my statutes, pinag-aralan na natin yan, keep my mishpatim, and do them, and you shall dwell in the land in safety. And the land shall yield her fruit, and you shall eat your fill, and dwell therein in safety. makita mo ang pangako ng Panginoon. Ang sinasabi ng Panginoon, sumunod kayo and safe kayo. Wala tayong problema. Sumunod kayo sa akin sa mga statutes, sa mishpatim, gawin nyo yon, sabi niya, and wala tayong problema, you will dwell in the land in safety. Now, this is how people think. And majority of us do think like this. Kahit hindi po tayo businessman, ito po ang thinking ng tao ngayon. Alright? Pagdating sa negosyo, you know the word capitalism? Okay? Pag may capital ka, may pangnegosyo ka. Alright? At yung definition na yan, galing po yan sa internet. Okay? It's an economic system based on private ownership of the means of production and their operation for profit. Okay? So, sa Tagalog, may capitalism. May capital ka and magninegosyo ka. Alright? So, magninegosyo ka. So, halimbawa, may pera ako, pwede kong bilihin yung lupa mo. At pag binili ko yung lupa mo, pwede kong gamitin yon para kumita ako ng pera. Tama? So, walang problema. Kasi on the Sabbath days, pwede naman tayong magtrabaho. So just like in the Sabbath years, the 6 years, pwede rin magtrabaho ang tao. Pero, alalahanin nyo, may mga inutos ang Panginoon dito. Maaring mong bilihin yung lupa ng kapatid mo, ng kamag-anak mo. Pero pagdating ng Jovel, kailangan mong ibalik. Kasi hindi sa iyo yan. Alright? Capitalism. So, anong tawag sa gumagana nag-iisip ng capitalism? Capitalist. So, yung capitalist, siya yung may kapital. A person who uses their wealth to invest. A person who uses their wealth. Kinopya ko lang yun sa internet. The person who uses their wealth to invest and trade and industry for profit in accordance with the principles of what you can see above, which is capitalism. So, in layman's terms, in Tagalog, may kapital ako, kaya kong magnegosyo, kaya kong bilhin ang lupa mo, kaya kong magnegosyo sa lupa mo. Pwede kong bilhin yung lupa ni ganito, pwede kong patayuan yun ng hotel, or pwede kong palagyan yun ng mga puno, palagyan ko ng anihan so that pwede kong gamitin para ako ay yumaman. Alright? Now, the danger of capitalism. Babalikan ko yung last. It's human ideology. Alright? It's human ideology. So, yung capitalism ay ganyan mag-isip ang tao. Now, the danger of capitalism is covetousness. Siyempre, binili ko yung lupa ni Alma sa Romblon, kung meron man. Di ba? Binatayuan ko, nilagyan ko ng mga puno. Kumita. Nung kumita ako, binili ko din yung lupa ni Cathy sa Cebu. Alright? So, may danger. Bakit? Pag nagiging abundant na yung kinikita, ay nagkakaroon ng covetousness. What's another danger? Oppression. Di ba? Oppression. From the root word oppression. Anong oppression? Kasi pwede ka, naalala ko tuloy yung kwento ni Danny. Ha? Sorry naman. Ayusin ko po mamaya. Yung mga presentation ko, pag umanhin nyo na po yung mga wrong spelling at saka wrong grammar, kasi pag pinag-aaralan ko po yan, sinusulat ko lang po yan. Pag ilalagay ko na sa notes, ginagawa ko na po yan ng mabilisan. Alright. So, hindi po yan oppression. Oppression. Bakit? Ano yung sinasabi ko kanina? Naalala ko yung kwento ni Danny. Yung pagbibili siya ng lupa. Nang-o-oppress na siya. Dinadaan niya sa lasingan. Di ba? Anyway, I mean, we can oppress the people na binilihan natin ng lupa. Bakit? Kasi kapag may pera ang tao, ang tendency is nagiging mayabang. Dahil may pera, na ang tendency, sila yung nagko-control. Alright? Sinasabi kong sila kasi wala naman po akong pera. Kaya hindi ko masabing tayo. Pero yung oppression, kaya nga sabi ko, the danger of capitalism. I'm not saying lahat ng mayaman ganito, pero ito po yung danger ng pagyaman ng isang tao dahil siya ay mayroong kapital. And makikita natin, even in our present day, okay, even in our present day, tingnan nyo po, yung mga kilalang mayayaman, sila ay yumayaman ng yumayaman at yung mahihirap ay patuloy lang nagiging mahirap. Alright? So ano pa? Pride. Kasi pag siyempre marami ka ng kakayamanan, madali ka nang mag-utos, mahirap na maging servant pag mayaman. Kasi may pera ka na eh. Tapos minsan, yung binilihan mo ng lupa, naging servant mo pa. Which is possible. Pwede po yan. Kasi inutos din po yan ng Panginoon. But take note, sa ating pinag-aralan, yan po yung the reality that happens through time, the rich become richer, the poor become poorer. Now, this is what's different from man's ideology and Yahweh's design here in Leviticus chapter 25. Okay? He does not want us to covet. Nakasulat po yan sa Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, thy neighbor's house, thy neighbor's everything that is thy neighbor's. He does not want us to oppress one another. Sinulat yan sa chapter 25. 2 beses. In verse 17 and in verse 14. Okay. Ba't nawala yung iba? Balikan ko na. Now, sabi po ng scriptures 3 times in chapter 25. Pag naghirap yung kapatid mo, ayan na, verse 25. If thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possession. Kasi ganyan naman, di ba? Ganyan dito sa Middle East. Nawalan ka ng trabaho, anong kailangan natin gawin? Magbenta tayo ng gamit. Kasi that's the only way, one of the ways we can survive. Magbibenta ng gamit hanggang makauwi. So, in the scriptures, ganun din. Yung kapatid mo naghirap, pwede ko bang ibenta sa iyo yung lupa ko? And sabi dyan, and hath sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which is his brother sold. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, verse 27, sabi po dyan, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. So kung meron siyang pambayad or pang-redeem, pambalik, sabi niya, bayaran niya. Verse 28, but if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that hath bought it until the year of Yovel. So pagdating ng year of Yovel, anong mangyayari? Sabi dyan, in the Yovel, it shall go out. Ano yung sabihin ng it shall go out? Babalik ngayon yung nagbenta sa kanya doon sa lupain niya. So basically, may reset. Bakit may reset? Ayun yung utos ng Panginoon eh. Ang utos ng Panginoon, hati-hati kayo sa lupa. Pag naghirap ang iyong kapatid, pwede niyang ibenta sa iyo yung lupa. Pero pagdating ng Yovel, balik tayo sa simula. So basically, pinagkakitaan, kung ako yung capitalist, pinagkakitaan ko na yung lupa, pero dapat nasa isip ko na hindi ko i-oppress si kapatid. At isipin ko na upa lang din yun. Upa yun for 50 years. And take note, ang isang building po dito sa Middle East, approximately, okay, 50 years po ang lifespan. 50 years. Bakit? After 50 years, kanila yung lupa eh. Hindi naman sa yung lupa. So, pag bumili ka ng lupa dito, ng flat or ng kwarto dito, yan po ay yan po ay 50 years lang sa iyo. So makikita mo parang may ano, di ba? Merong pinanggalingan, may pinagbabasihan. Now, another, that is poor brother sin 1. Let's see poor brother sin 2. Verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee. Alright? Maganda to sa ibang translation eh. Tingnan puntahan ko lang. Actually, yun yung sinulat ko dito nung una, pero binalik ko sa King James. Baka kasabihin nyo kasi hindi na ako King James. Verse 35. Okay, I'll read it in the ESV. If your brother becomes poor and cannot maintain himself with you. Okay? Yung hindi niya talaga masustentuhan yung kanyang sarili. Sabi ng scripture, you shall support him as though he were a stranger and a sojourner, and he shall live with you. Grabing utos to. Sabi niya, kung hindi niya masustentuhan yung kanyang sarili, ay huwag mo siyang basta-basta papaalisin, kundi hayaan mo siya na makitira doon sa lupa na binili mo sa kanya. Alright? Verse 36. Take thou no usury of him or increase. Hindi mo siya pwedeng tubuan. Hindi mo siya pwedeng lagyan ng interes. Pag sinabing usury, applicable pa rin po sa atin yan. Huwag kayong magpapautang ng may interes. Sabi po dyan, fear thy Elohim that thy brother may live with thee. So anong tinuturo dito? Unang tinuturo dito, matuto tayong mahalin natin yung kapwa natin. Hindi porket naghirap siya, ay lalo mo siyang i-oppress, kasi tamad ka, kasi ganyan ka. Tuturuan mo siya. Definitely, tuturuan mo siya kung paano ka yumayaman. Pero, ang tinuturo sa atin dito, matuto mong alagaan yung kapatid mong naghihirap. Okay? Verse 37. Parang may tinatamaan na dito. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. So sinasabi dyan, ngayon, dalawang partido po ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. Si kapatid na mayaman, na naging kapital niya yung lupa ni kapatid, at si kapatid na mahirap na hindi niya kayang isustain ang kanyang sarili. Nasabi niya, pag nagpautang ka, huwag mong papatungan. Kung may pinahiram ka sa kanya, huwag kang umasa, may dagdag yun. Sabi niya, matakot ka sa Panginoon, that thy brother may live with thee. Na makikita niyo kanina, may level, si poor brother, may pambayad pa ng konti, pero sabi niya, kung wala siyang pambayad, ibalik mo sa Jubilee, sa Yovel. Ito, in verse 35, mas mahirap na to. Kasi sabi niya, hindi na niya ma-maintain yung kanyang sarili. Hindi na niya kayang sustentuhan yung kanyang sarili. Pangatlo, bago tayo pumunta sa pangatlo, reminder ng Panginoon. Sabi niya, I am Yahuwah Elohim, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan and to be your Elohim. Sabi niya, ako yung Panginoon ninyo. Tandaan nyo, galing kayo sa Egypt, binigyan ko kayo ng lupa, at ang ating kasunduan, ako yung magiging Panginoon ninyo. Alright? Sin 3, si poor brother, verse 39. 3 beses po dito sa Leviticus chapter 25, binanggit si poor brother ng pahirap. Verse 39, and if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee. Sobrang hirap niya, binenta na siya sa'yo. Binenta na yung lupa, pati yung tao binenta na. Sabi ng scriptures, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant. Hindi mo siya pwedeng tratuhin na na slave. Pwede mo siyang tratuhin as what? As a hired servant. And a sojourner, he shall be with thee and shall serve thee unto when? The year of Yovel. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him. Take note, naghirap siya. Anong sabi ng Panginoon? Ibabalik mo yung lupa niya, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. Now, if you remember yung pinag-aaralan natin, may pinagkaiba po yung bondservant sa hired servant. Yung bondservant, pwedeng maging pag-aari yan nung capitalist. Sabihin ko na, yung capitalist. Yun na lang description natin dun sa mayaman. Pwede siya maging pag-aari ng capitalist. Yung asawa ng bondservant ay pag-aari din ng capitalist. Kaya pag pinalaya niya yung bondservant, yung asawa ay mapupunta pa rin dun sa capitalist. Pero sabi niya, kapag children of Yasharel yan, hindi nyo sila pwedeng gawin na bondservant. Sila ay hired servant lamang. So, isipin mo yon, lupa mo, may ganun. Even in the Philippines, may ganun. Di ba? Sinasaka mo yung lupa mo, pero nakasanla sa ibang tao. Alam niyo yung mga ganyang arrangement? Sounds familiar, di ba? Pero sabi niya, pagdating ng 50th year, reset tayo. So basically, if we study this deeper, yung pinaghati-hatian nila in the time of Joshua, dapat every 50 years, ganun pa rin yung itsura ng mapa. Kasi bumabalik doon sa may-ari yung lupa. Hindi lumalaki yung lupa ni ganito dahil yumaman siya, dahil naging capitalist siya. Kailangan every 50 years na maintain yung mga division of lands the same. Bakit? Yun yung utos ng Panginoon. Now, anong principle ang makikita natin dito? Ang sinasabi ng Panginoon dito, ako nagbigay sa inyo niyang lupa. At ang prinsipyong ito, unang-una, sabi ng Panginoon, hindi nyo dapat i-oppress ang bawat isa. Dahil pagdating sa capitalism, yung capitalist, pwede niya kunin yung buong lupa. May mga tao nga ngayon, kayang bumili ng bansa eh. Ganun po ang capitalism. Pero ang Panginoon gusto niya na bilang mga anak niya, tingnan niya ang kanyang mga kapatid, yung welfare ng kanyang mga kapatid ng pantay-pantay. It's basically teaching us how to treat our brothers well. How to treat our kinsmen well. Na hindi porket mayaman ka, ay hindi ka na pwedeng hawakan ng kapatid mong mahirap. Do you see the point? Do you see the point of Yahuwah? Babalik tayo dun sa prinsipyo niya. In verse 23, sabi niya, bakit? Kasi ang lupang yan, akin yan. Kaya pagdating ng 50 years, reset tayo. Reset tayo doon sa lahat ng naibenta ng possession. So basically, nung kinonquer nila yung land, yun na talaga, yung divisions nun. Yung subdivisions nun will not change kasi yun ay sa Panginoon talaga. Kaya nga, if you study more further down the line, ibabalik din ng Panginoon sa dating structure. So, history will just repeat itself. And yan po yung reminder. Verse 43. Hindi dapat tayo nag-oppress. Sabi niya, thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy Elohim. Makikita niyo dyan in verse 44, shall be of the heathen that, yan po yung bond servants. Okay? It's talking about the bond servants na pwede nyo gawing bond servants. Kasi kung yan po ay kapwa nyo Israelita, ay hindi nyo pwedeng gawing bond servant yan, kailangan hard servant lang sila. Pero ang pwede nyo gawing bond servants, parang tayo lang dito, di ba, sa Middle East. Tayo yung mga modern day slaves ng mga mayayaman. Now, sabi diyan sa verse 44, kayong mga Israelita, ang mga magiging bondservant nyo ay yung mga heathen around you. Them shall you buy bondmen and bondmaids. Pero sabi niya sa verse 46, you shall not rule one over another with rigor. Okay? So basically sabi niya, hindi kayo dapat malupit sa bawat isa. Hindi kayo dapat nang aapi ng mga mahihirap. So makikita natin dito na hindi naman po masama ang Panginoon. At hindi talaga masama ang Panginoon. Basically, He's giving us instruction how to love one another, and meron talagang maghihirap dahil hindi naman pantay-pantay ang tao ng kasipagan at hindi rin naman pantay-pantay ang katamaran ng tao. Pero may mga taong maghihirap. Pero sabi ng Panginoon, pag naghirap ang iyong kapatid, level 1, level 2, level 3, sabi niya, patirahin mo siya sa iyo, kasama mo, dun sa lupa niya, At pagdating ng Yovel, sabi niya, ibalik mo yung lupa niya. So makikita natin, this is very different from the human ideology of capitalism kasi may reset button. May reset year ang Panginoon, which is the year of Yovel. Alright? Are you following? Yovel is a year of reset. Now, yan yung sinasabi ko, huwag niyong kalimutan ang prinsipyo, the land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine. So basically, pag binili ko yung lupa ni Catherine, binili ko yung lupa ni Alma, hindi sa akin yun. Upa lang yun for 50 years, and on the 50th year, kailangan kong ibalik sa kanila. Alright? It's Yahuwah's land. It's Yahuwah's possession. Everything we enjoy comes from Yahuwah. The fruit of our labor is from Yahuwah. The strength and wisdom that we have is from Yahuwah. The life that we have is from Yahuwah, and everything is borrowed from Yahuwah. Yan ang dapat nating maintindihan prinsipyo dito sa year of Yovel and sa Shemitah. Tama ba? Shemitah. All right. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. 8 lang pala. Saan ko nakita yung 2? Deuteronomy chapter 8. All right. Sabi po dyan sa verse 10, when thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless Yahuwah thy Elohim for the good land which he hath given thee. And ito yung paalala. Take note, this is the 40th year that they were in the wilderness. They were about to conquer the promised land. Sabi ng Panginoon, beware that thou forget not Yahuwah Elohayka in not keeping his commandments and his mishpatim and his statutes which I command thee this day. Binasa rin natin to kanina in chapter 6. Alright? Sabi niya, lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwell therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied. Bakit? Pagpapalain sila ng Panginoon. Yan yung pangako. Pero sabi dyan, and all that thou hast is multiplied, verse 14, then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget Yahuwah Elohayka, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt. Ito yung sinasabi natin sa Pilipino, matuto kang tumingin sa iyong pinanggalingan. Alright? And ito yung paalala ng Panginoon sa mga Israelita na sinasabi niya, matuto kayong tumingin. Magbalik tanaw, galing kayo sa Egypt. It may be a long time. And we're talking about thousands of years now. Pero it's the same principle that applies to us. Matuto tayong bumalik tanaw doon sa nangyari dito sa Torah so that we understand Yahuwah's principles so that we also live by the same principles that He is teaching the children of Yasharel. Sabi niya dyan, huwag niyong kakalimutan, lalo na kapag mayaman na kayo. Verse 14, last part, which brought you thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina, na utak capitalism. Utak capitalist, bakit? Kasi maaari na pumasok sa utak natin, and kaya nga sinulat ko doon, the danger of capitalism is covetousness, is oppression, is pride. Okay? Excuse me po. Verse 18. Sabi po dyan, But thou shalt remember Yahweh Elohayka, for it is He that giveth thee power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant, which He sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. Now, as we have read chapter 25, makikita natin na walang masama sa mga inuutos ng Panginoon. He's actually teaching us to be fair. He's teaching us to take care of our brethren. He's actually teaching us to take care of our servants. He's teaching us, and even when we go back to the Mishpatim and all of the other things that we read, ay tinuturuan niya tayo maging magmahalan sa kapwa. Magmahalan tayo ng kapwa. Alright. We love one another. English na lang. we learn how to love one another. Katulad nga, ito yung sinasabi sa New Testament, sa Brit Hadashah, that love is the fulfillment of the law, of the Torah. So basically, yung mga curse na pinataw niya in chapter 26, makikita niyo yun, conditional lahat yun, dahil lahat yun may sinasabing if. Alright, we'll go to that later on. Pero, tingnan po natin yung kung anong nangyari. Kung anong nangyari dito sa mga taong ito dahil hindi nila sinunod. Unang-una, hindi nila sinunod yung Sabbath years. Did I write it down? Okay. Now, let me just read this. Ending statement for the land instructions. Dito po magtatapos yung chapter 25. Nasa chapter 6 yung kanyang katapusan, which is Behar. Nagtapos siya, sabi niya, you shall make you no idols nor graven image. Ano yung command? Sabi niya, pag pumasok kayo dun sa lupa, ito yung instructions. So basically, kasama to sa instructions ng lupa. Huwag niyong tatayuan ng graven image. Yung lupa, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for Ani Yahuwah Elohaykem. Pag sinabing, I am Yahuwah, parang Tagalog po. Yan po yung totoong sinabi sa Hebrew, Ani Yahuwah. Alright? Okay? Verse 2, you shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary, Ani Yahuwah. Alright? Ani Yahuwah. So basically, sinasabi ng Panginoon, pag nakapasok kayo dun sa lupa ko, na pinangako ko sa iyo, na ibibigay ko sa inyo, unang-una, wag niyong tatayuan ng ibang Diyos-Diyosan. Pangalawa, you keep my Sabbaths. And you reverence my Mishkan. My place, our place of appointment. Alright? The tabernacle of congregation. Wag niyong i-defile yan. So basically, sinasabi niya, wag niyong i-defile yung mga araw ko, wag niyong i-defile yung sanctuary ko, wag niyong i-defile yung lupa ko. Tatlong level, di ba? Yung lupa ko, yung mga araw ko, at yung sanctuary ko. So basically, Yahweh is giving these instructions to the children of Israel. Pero, what happened? Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. Daniel chapter 9. Ngayon, pag naintindihan natin to, mas maintindihan natin yung kalagayan natin ngayon. Kung bakit tayo walang lupa. Daniel chapter 9. I'll read verse 1. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus of the seed of Mede, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. Now, Daniel was part of the captivity already. Okay? Kung naalala nyo, siya po ay ginawang, binigyan siya ng posisyon ni King Nebuchadnezzar in the first chapters of Daniel. Pero makikita natin, napakaganda lang dito, itong si Daniel. Dahil maganda rin maunawaan itong ugaling ito. Kung meron tayo nitong ugali na saliksikin, bakit tayo nandito sa kalagayan natin ngayon. Sabi ni Daniel, verse 2, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of the years whereof the word of Yahweh came to Yirmiyahu, the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem. And I set my face unto Yahweh, unto Adonai Elohim, to seek by prayer, and supplications, with fastings and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto Yahweh, my Elohim, and made my confession and said, O Yahweh, the great and dreadful Elohim, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that keep his commandments. Sabi niya, we have sinned and have committed iniquity and have done wickedly and have rebelled even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. Sabi niya, nagkasala kami. Binasa na natin to nung pinag-aralan natin yung isang half-Torah natin. Sabi niya, nagkasala kami. Ngayon, ang dinidiscover dito ni Daniel kung bakit sila nasa captivity for 70 years. Now, ako po ay hindi masyadong magaling sa math. Pero kung tayo po ay magbibilang, may relevance, marami pong pwedeng ma-discover sa pag-calculate ng mga taon. Okay? Pero hindi ako magko-compute ngayon. So makikita natin dito in verse 2, sabi niya, ako si Daniel, naintindihan ko ngayon yung sinabi ni Yirmiyahu. Anong sinabi ni Yirmiyahu? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 25. Jeremiah chapter 25. All right. Are you there? Jeremiah chapter 25. Basahin natin from verse 8. Therefore, thus, I'll start from verse, let me start from verse 6. And go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. Yet you have not hearkened unto me, saith Yahweh, that you might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh of Sabaoth, because you have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith Yahweh, and Nebuchadrezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment and a hissing and a perpetual desolation. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, the light of the candle, and this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. And it shall come to pass when the 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith Yahweh, for their iniquity and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolations. Now let's go to Jeremiah chapter 29. Jeremiah chapter 29. Let's read from verse 10. Sabi dyan, for thus saith Yahweh, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you in causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call upon me, and you shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you, and you shall seek me and find me, and when you shall search for me with all your heart, and I will be found of you, saith Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations, and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith Yahweh, and I will bring you again into the place when I cause you to be carried away captive. So makikita po natin dito sa prayer ni Daniel, kasi si Yirmiyahu ay nung time na sinasakop yung Northern Kingdom. And makikita natin dito na si Daniel ay nandun na sa panahon ng captivity. And at this time, pinag-aaralan ni Daniel kung anong nangyari. Kasi mahirap naman maintindihan na nandun tayo sa captivity pero hindi mo alam kung anong nangyari. So makikita natin yung favor ng Panginoon dito kay Daniel kasi makikita natin dito in verse 3, sabi niya, I set my face unto Adonai Elohim to seek by prayer and supplication with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. So ang tanong sa atin ngayon, alam ba natin kung anong kalagayan natin ngayon? Kung bakit tayo nandito, kung bakit tayo nasa ibang bansa, kung anong ginawa ng Panginoon at kung ano ang plano ng Panginoon. Because here Daniel found favor in Yahweh's sight by giving his prayer and supplication and understanding, kaya pala kami 70 years in captivity dahil hindi kami sumunod sa mga utos ng Panginoon. Kaya nga sabi niya dyan sa verse, I'll just read from verse 7 of Daniel chapter 9. O Adonai, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces. And yan ang ini-experience natin ngayon. We are confused. With the English language, English translation, confused na din tayo. Kaya nga, marami magsasabi, dami yung Bible na ginagamit, confused. Because we are already, how many years from Daniel? Sila Daniel nga, confused na eh. How much more tayo? Sabi po dito, to the men of Yehuda and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off through all the countries whither thou hast driven them because of their trespass that they have trespassed against thee. Verse 8, O Adonai, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have transgressed the Torah against thee. Malinaw naman po yun, di ba? Nagkasala po kami sa iyo. Verse 10, to Adonai, Yahuwah, our Yahuwah, belong mercies and forgiveness, though we rebelled against him. Verse 10, neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahuwah, our Elohim, to walk in his Torah, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Yea, all Yasharel have transgressed thy Torah, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the Torah of Moshe, the servant of Elohim, because we have transgressed the Torah against thee. That's very clear. Time pa lang ni Daniel yan. Tingnan natin kung ano pang nangyari between. All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1. Balik tayo dun sa usapang lupa. Kasi baka sabihin natin, idolatry lang naman yan eh. Tingnan natin yung usapang lupa. Isaiah chapter 1. Sabi niya dyan, in verse 16. Sabi niya, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Tigilan nyo yan. Ginagawa nyo. Anong ginagawa nila? Kabaliktaran lahat ng nasa verse 17. Sabi niya sa verse 17, learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Pakawalan nyo yung mga ino-oppress ninyo. Alisin nyo yung oppression. Sabi niya, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. And then one of the famous verses, verse 18, come, let us reason together. Sabi ng Panginoon, mag-usap tayo. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. Verse 19, if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. Verse 20, but if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of Yahuwah hath spoken it. Anong nangyari? Maraming capitalist. Pag sinabi mong capitalist, maraming magulang. Maraming nanggugulang. Maraming nang aapi. Bakit? Yumaman na. Nakalimutan yung Deuteronomy chapter 38. And this is one thing that we really need to learn dahil yes, there may be blessing, but remember, it is Yahuwah who gives us power to get wealth. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 5. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 7. Sabi niya dyan, for the vineyard of Yahuwah of Sabaoth is the house of Yasharel, and the man of Yehuda is his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression. For righteousness, but behold, a cry. Sabi ng Panginoon, naghahanap ako nung mga inutos ko, yung mga judgment tsaka righteousness, pero anong nakita ko? Oppression. Anong nakita ko? Mga umiiyak dahil sila ay inaapi. Ganun naging kasama ang Israel. Hindi nila nakita yung importance ng Torah na magmahalan kayo. Ang linaw naman po sa Leviticus chapter 25. Yes, may mga utos patungkol sa bentahan, pero sabi ng Panginoon, huwag mong aapihin yung naghihirap mong kapatid. Kahit yung mga bondservant, don't treat them with rigor. Huwag mo silang pahihirapan. Matuto ka na kung ikaw ay isang kapitalist, kung ikaw ay pinayaman ng Panginoon at nakakabili ng lupa ng iba, matuto mo silang alagaan. Matuto mong alagaan yung binilihan mo, yung mga naghirap mong kapatid, yung mga bondservants mo, mga hired servants mo, and on the Yovel, matuto mong ibalik yung lupa nila. Ganun ka-fair ang Panginoon. Bakit? Sabi ng Panginoon, lupa ko yan. Tandaan nyo, lupa ko yan. Walang sa inyo dyan. And it's a very good principle to think about. Dahil para hindi pumasok sa ating isip yung covetousness, yung oppression, and yung pride. Let's see another verse. Let's go to Amos chapter 4. Bakit? May kapatid ba kayong naghihirap? Joel. Amos. Amos chapter 4. Verse 1. Sabi niya dyan, hear this word. Ye kine of Bashan that are in the mountain of Samaria, which oppress the poor, which crush the needy, which say to their masters, bring and let us drink. Yahuwah hath sworn by his holiness that, lo, the day shall come upon you that he will take you away with hooks and your posterity with fish hooks. Verse 3, and you shall go out at the breaches, every cow at the which is before her, and you shall cast them into the palace, saith Yahuwah. Verse 4, sabi niya, come to Bethel and transgress. At Gilgal, multiply transgression, and bring your sacrifices every morning, and your tithes after 3 years, and offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving with leaven, and proclaim and publish the free offerings, for this liketh you, O children of Yasharel, saith Adonai Yahuwah. So basically, sinasabi niya, nag-offering kayo. Binibigay niyo yung mga offering niyo, but you're transgressing the Torah. At ito rin po yung sinasabi ng Panginoong Yahushua nung kausap niya yung mga Pharisees. Ito po yung kanyang ine-explain sa kanila na sinasabi nyo kapag nagbigay na kayo, okay na yung honor thy father and thy mother, hindi nyo na kailangan sundin basta nakapag-offering na kayo. You're forgetting the Torah. You're forgetting the principles of the Torah to love one another. Makikita po natin dito na napakalinaw po ng salita ng Panginoon na ang inuutos niya sa chapter 25, it's His principles about the 7th year. It's His principles about the Yovel. Pero ang tinuturo niya sa atin ay matuto nating i-treat ang kapwa natin tulad ng kapatid natin. Kasi kahit ngayon, kahit kapatid natin, iba yung pagtrato. Alright? Tinatrato nating stranger. Pero dito sinasabi ng Panginoon, matuto niyong mahalin ang mga kapatid niyo, lalo na kung sila'y naghihirap. Alright? Now, before I continue with chapter 26, let me just finish this, Brother Gary, and if you have something to say, please feel free. Now, I'll do a chapter summary of Leviticus, and this is amazing. Kasi makikita nyo dito yung chiasm, if you still remember chiasm. Chapter 1 to 6, 1 to 7 talks about offerings. Naalala nyo? Ola, Minka, Kataat, Asham, Shalem, and it talks about offerings of the people and offerings of the priest. Tama? Now, chapter 8 to 10 talks about the laws of the Kohen. It talks about the 8th day. And the 7 days na kailangan yung Kohen nasa labas. You remember that? We've got the Mishkan inauguration where the glory of Yahweh appeared. And in chapter 10, dyan din namatay si Nadab and Abihu. So basically, that's the summary of it. It talks about Kohen laws. Now, chapter 11 to 15, madaling tandaan, chapter 11, Tuma and Tahara. And then uncleanness of childbirth, uncleanness of discharge, and lahat ng uncleanness, how to stay kadosh. Kadosh, kodesh, or whatever. Basta yung kadosh. And then, makikita natin, chapter 27 talks about offerings. The first verses, and the first chapters, and the last chapter, chapter 27 talks about offerings in the form of estimation or talking about yung valuation. Diba? Gusto mong i-offer, may gusto kang i-offer na, may nabasa tayo dun kanina, unclean. Diba? Unclean beast na hindi naman ino-offer. So, pwede siyang i-estimate ng priest. Halimbawa, may aso ka. Alright? Gusto mong i-dedicate, may unclean beasts. The priest will evaluate kung magkano ang offering na iaalay mo, yung vow mo. So, makikita natin, it's very similar, different forms, pero yung chapter 27 is a form of estimation. Chapter 1 to 7 is a form of sacrifice or yung mga offerings na pinag-aralan natin. Chapter 21 to 26 talks about the Kohen laws. Remember, pinag-aralan natin nila Brother Gary. Chapter 21, yung bawal humawak ng dead person, bawal mag-asawa ng hindi Israelita. And then chapter 23, talking about the Moedim. So it's talking about time as well. And then we're talking about the Shemitah, and the Yovel, which is talking about time. So ito po yung people ng Panginoon, time ng Panginoon, and the Mishkan inauguration, makikita natin, it also parallels to the instructions for the land when you enter the land. Take note, matagal pa po sila makakapasok. Makakapasok pa sila after 38 years. Pero binigay na ng Panginoon yung instruction doon sa space na ibibigay niya. And then, chapter 17 to 20, naalala niyo yung title? Kodeshim. Chapter 18 talks about nakedness, how to stay kadosh. And all of these are parallel. Kung itutupi mo po yung Leviticus at makikita mo yung mga chapters 1 to 7, katapat niya yung 27. And ano yung gitna? The Yom Kippur, the day of at-one-ment with Yahweh. So makikita natin yung design ng Panginoon, and this is very, madalas po ito, when we talk about Torah, madalas po itong nangyayari. And napakaganda lang isipin that the book of Wayikra is actually the middle of the Torah books of Moshe. Tama? Genesis, Exodus, we got Bereshit, Shemot, and then we've got Wayikra. Then we've got Bemidbar and Devarim. At ang kanilang gitna ay yung Wayikra, which is the words. All right? And he called. Hindi ba rin pala yung the words. And he called these people para matutunan ang mga batas ng Panginoon. At yung pinakagitna, all right? Yung pinakagitna na chapter na kung titingnan natin yung chiasm na to, ay gusto ng Panginoon na tayo ay maging one kasama ang Panginoon. At one meant. We may read it atonement, but we can also read it at one meant because Yahweh wants to be with us. And if we look back, bakit natin kailangan mag-offering? Kasi gusto ng Panginoon, willing heart. Natandaan niyo yung lesson na yun? Gusto ng Panginoon, we offer willingly. And then, sabi niya, he gives the instructions to the Kohen. Who are the Kohen? These are the people who mediate. The people with Yahweh. Yahweh has his own time. Yahweh has his own space, his own place where we can meet with him. And he's teaching us how to be kadosh. At ang gitna po niyan ay gusto ng Panginoon talaga na maging at one tayo kasama siya. So makikita natin na hindi lang basta-basta sinulat ito. It has a design. And marami pa po tayong hindi alam yan kasi unang-una, English yan tinatahak natin. Marami pa po tayong hindi alam dyan because we are very new with Hebrew. Pero as we dig in deeper, these are mysteries, these are things that we discover na grabe pala kung paano inorchestrate ng Panginoon ang kanyang salita. It's actually very organized. And tayo lang, tayong tao, kulang lang talaga tayo sa pagsasaliksik. Pero kung uunawain natin, mas marami pa tayong matututunan. And I praise and thank Yahuwah for allowing us to study these 3 books in the past 9 months in detail. Pero alam ko marami pa tayong pwedeng matutunan. Tatapusin pa natin yung 26 and 27. But before I move forward, Brother Gary, anything you would like to add?
Shabbat Shalom mga kapatid. We are in chapter 25 ng Wayikra. And naway marami po tayong natututunan na ma-apply natin sa ating mga buhay na naghihintay sa pagbabalik ng Panginoong Yahushua. Alright. I think nadaan na naman lahat ni Preacher na i-discuss niyo ng maayos. Naway maging blessing po ito sa lahat ng nakikinig at makakapakinig pa po. And I'll just have some points na pwede po mating makita. Pwedeng ituro sa atin ng Panginoon. Chapter 25 verse tingnan natin, verse 1, sabi niya, or verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when ye come into the land which I give you. Once na binanggit po yan, makikita natin na, titingnan nyo. Pag dumating ako dun sa land na pinangako ko sa inyo, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto Yahuwah. So dalawa yung makikita natin na utos dito. Pag dumating kayo dun sa land, yung land na yan is dapat magkaroon ng Sabat. Yan, pinag-aralan natin yung sabbatical year. Alright. Pero titingnan din po natin kung gaano ka-importante yung land na yan. Okay? Kasi sabi niya, hindi lang basta sa kung saan-saang mang lugar. Pag dumating kayo sa land na yan, ang sabi niya, you need to make sure na naiintindihan ninyo yung principles ng Sabat. Ganun siya ka-importante. And ganun din ka-importante yung land na yan. Alright? When you come to the land where He put His name, and you need to come 3 times a year in respect to the land, we can read so many resources about any kung saan po natin nakikita yung Garden of Eden, yung Babylon, yung Assyrian, yung Philistine. But take note here, ang pinag-uusapan po natin is yung land ng Israel. Kung gaano ka-importante yung lupain na yan. Alright? Gaano ka-importante yung lupain na yan? Kung parang ground zero po ito eh. Lahat ng pangyayari nandito eh. Lahat ng spiritual na nakikita natin nandito. Alright? This is the right spot. This is the place. There is where he died, he buried, and he rose again. Dito rin po sa lugar na ito, umakyat siya, and nandun siya ngayon sa kanan ng Ama. And dito rin po sa lugar na ito, sa Mount Olives, babalik siya kasama ang mga saints. So ganin ka-importante na dapat alam natin kung ano ang history ng land na to. Kung ano dapat ang nakikita natin kung gaano ka-holy yung land na to. And kung nagdi-desire tayo na maunawaan kung sino yung Panginoon natin, I believe na dapat kilala natin kung ano ang land na to. Alright? If you want to learn about Yahuwah, ay kilalanan natin kung saan siya nanggaling. Kung ano yung ginawa niya sa land na to, sa mga tao na nandito before. Alright? Puntahan natin yung lugar na to. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's have the desire na makita yung land na to. Puntahan natin yung land na to. Wag na yung dating desire ng makamundo na pupunta ako ng Europe, pupunta ako ng Amerika, makikita ko si Statue of Liberty, isa sa pinakamalaking Roman gods ng US nandun na yon, si Libertas. Kung hindi nyo po alam yon, sa Roman God po, si Libertas na niregalo sa kanila ng France, baka yun pa rin yung dinidesire natin. Bakit hindi natin i-desire na kilalanin kung saan nanggaling, kung saan ipinanganak ang Panginoon, kung saan ipinako ang Panginoon, namatay ang Panginoon para sa iyo at para sa akin. That's how important the land is. Ganun siya ka-importante. Alright, now, ano ang another na matututunan natin? Yung Sabat. Sobrang importante po yung Sabat, mga kapatid. Yung ginagawa natin ngayon, Ganun siya ka-importante. In verse 3, 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for Yahweh. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard, that which groweth of its own accord of the harvest. Thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes. I'll jump on verse 6. And the Sabbath of the land shall meet for you, for thee, for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy herd servant, and for thy strangers that sojourneth with thee. Pagkatapos ng Torah portion na to, ano ang last part? Chapter 26 and verse 1 and 2, anong sabi niya? Inulit niya ulit yung Sabat. You need to remember how holy yung Sabat. Gaano ka-importante yung Sabat. Alam niyo po ba na aside from the weekly Sabbath, merong 7 Sabat na itinalaga ang Panginoon sa loob ng isang taon? Aside from the weekly Sabbath na ginagawa natin ngayon? Alright, let's count that. Kasi pinag-aralan natin ito sa Leviticus 23. Yung Passover, hindi ho siya Sabbath. Ang first day ng Sabbath is on 15. Alright, first day ng unleavened bread and last day ng unleavened bread. That's 2. First day ng unleavened bread and second day ng unleavened bread. Ano ang kasunod? Feast of Weeks. That's 3. That's also a Sabbath. Ano ang kasunod? Yom Kippur. Tama? Yom Kippur, which is, Yom Teruah. That's 4. Feast of Trumpets. That on the 10th, Yom Kippur, that's atonement. And on the 6th, first day ng Sukkot and last day ng Sukkot. That's a 7 Sabbath na meron tayo sa isang taon, aside from the weekly Sabbath na pinapagawa sa atin ng Panginoon, which is the Saturday, to keep it holy. So in 1 year, meron kang 7. 7 na naman mga kapatid. Aksidente ba? Hindi ho. That is the plan ng ating master creator, ng ating master planner nang nagbigay ng buhay sa iyo at ng kaligtasan para sa ating lahat. Imagine that. Hindi ho basta-basta ang Sabat, mga kapatid. And hallelujah, praise Yahweh talaga, that He introduced us and He lead us back to His Torah, to His instruction, na nauunawaan. Yung Leviticus chapter 23, mga kapatid, kapag solid nating naunawaan po yun, napakaganda po maintindihan kung bakit pinapagawa ng Panginoon yun. Kung bakit pinapaunawa sa atin ng Panginoon yun. Sabbath day, yung sabbatical year, napaka-importante po. Now, the question would be, paano kung may lupain ako na nasa Pilipinas ako, ibabalik ko ba siya after 50 years? Ganon ba yung principles na tinuturo sa akin? Alright, yung tinuro sa atin kanina ni preacher, the principles is, huwag kang mga-oppress. Alright? Itong lupain na to, okay, sa Israel, hanggang ngayon nag-i-stand po yan. Pag bumili ka ng property sa Israel, yung gobyerno magsasabi sa'yo, after 50 years, hindi sa'yo yan. Pwede mong i-renew yung contract, pero after 50 years, pwedeng kuhanin ng gobyerno yan anytime. Alright? Hanggang ngayon po, nag-i-stand yung batas na yan. And it is the instruction or the Torah ng Panginoon, and it will stand forever. Alright. Now, ano pa ang pwede nating makita rito? Verse 18 and 19, napaka-importante. Wherefore ye shall do my statutes and keep my judgment and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land in safety, and the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your field, and dwell therein in safety. And if ye shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Alright, ang pangako ng Panginoon, you will dwell in safety, you will dwell in abundance. On verse 21, then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. Sa pang-6 na taon, ang harvest mo pang 3 taon. Ay grabe ang Panginoon, di ba? Kung sa ating mindset lang, kung sa taong mindset lang, ano ang gagawin ko? May lupain ako, pang 7 taon, hindi ako magtatanim, pababayaan ko lang yan kung ano yung mga tumubo dyan, kung ano yung mga bunga dyan, para yan sa lahat. Pagdating ng 8th year, magtatanim ako, pero makakain ko pa yon pagdating ng 9th year. Ano ang kakainin ko for that past 3 years? Pero ang sabi ng Panginoon rito, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. And sobrang, medyo nagiging emotional ako sa part na to. Kasi ang sabi ng Panginoon, sundin niyo ako. Irespeto niyo lang yung Sabat ko. Akong bahala sa inyo. You honor my Sabbath, you honor my instruction, akong bahala sa inyo. Yan, alam niyo po yung nangyayari sa amin dito sa company namin. Hindi pa naman 3 years. Hindi pa naman 3 years. Kalahating taon pa lang. Pero ang sabi niya, akong bahala sa inyo. You honor my Sabbath, I will take care of you. Huwag kang gumawa pag Sabado. Huwag kang mag-overtime pag Sabado. I will take care of you. Ingatan mo yung instruction ko. You keep, you guard it. Akong bahala sa'yo. Pero hindi natin nagagawa, mga kapatid. Still, sometimes, we're buying, we're selling. We're doing the things according to our own ways pag Sabado. Pero sabi, Panginoon, akong bahala sa inyo. 3 years. Hindi ba napakaganda niyan? Magbakasyon ka ng 3. Ay, grabe po. Magbakasyon ka ng 3 years. Yung kakainin mo, akong bahala. And yet, moving forward, hanggang sa mga pinag-aaral natin, binasa natin kanina, hindi ho nasunod. Hindi ho nasunod. Pag sinabi sa akin ng boss ko ngayon, magbakasyon ka sa Pilipinas ng 3 years. Akong bahala sa pagkain mo, akong bahala sa mga bills mo. For sure, sasabihin natin, yes, susunod ako, Panginoon. Pero bakit ganito? Bakit? Kasi hindi ho nasunod yung instruction ng Panginoon. Huwag kayong maging greedy. Huwag kayong mang-oppress. Huwag kayong maging gahaman. Alright, let's see another example sa Book of Amos na binasa natin kanina. I think in Amos chapter 8. Amos chapter 8. Hosea, Joel, Amos chapter 8. Alright, sabi po dyan, for verse 1, Thus hath Yahweh Elohim shewed unto me, and behold, a basket of summer fruit. And he said, Amos, what seest thou? Ano nakikita mo? And I said, a basket of summer fruit, Father Yahuwah. Then said Yahuwah unto me, Then is come upon my people of Yazarel. I will not again pass by them anymore. Galit ang Panginoon. And the songs of the temple shall be howlings in that day, saith Yahuwah. There shall be many dead bodies in every place. They shall cast them forth with silence. Here it is, oh yeah, that swallow up the needy. Yung mga nang-o-oppress. Yung mga nanggagancho. Yung mga, alam mo po yun, mga mapagsamantala. Even to make the poor of the land to fail. Saying, when will the new moon began? Ito ang sinasabi nila. Ito ang nangyari. Kailan matatapos itong 7 year na to, itong sabbatical year na to? When will the new moon began that we may sell corn? Para kami naman ang kumita. Pinapakinabangan na ng lahat eh. Kailan matatapos ito? That we may sell corn and the Sabbath that we may, yung sabbatical year po yung pinag-usapan dyan, that we may set forth with making the ephah small and the shekel great and falsifying the balances by deceit. Kailan ulit kami makakapag-gain, makakapandaya ng kapwa? Kailan ulit kami kikita? Kita. Kailan ulit kami, kailan ulit madadagdagan yung mga numbers sa bangko ko? That we may buy the poor for silver and the needy for a fair pair of shoes, yea, and sell the refuse of the wheat. Yahuwah hath sworn by the excellency of Jacob, surely I will never forget any of their works. Hindi ko makakalimutan. Yung pang-o-oppress nyo, hindi ko makakalimutan. Yung panggagancho nyo, hindi ko makakalimutan yan. Yung pagpapatubo nyo, nakita nyo nang nahihirapan, hindi ko makakalimutan yan. Alright. Pagdating sa Brit Hadasha, ito po yung sinasabi rin ng mga apostol. Let's go sa Book of James. Sa mga favorite book ko na to si Apostle James. Alam niyo po ba na yung sulat ni Apostle James in the time of Martin Luther, halos ayaw niyang ipaliwanag to. Si Martin Luther po, hindi po si Martin Luther King ha, yung naunang Martin Luther. That's a different topic. Kasi it talks about salvation with work. James chapter 5. Alright. Sabi po dyan, Hebrews, James, chapter 5. Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted. Parehas lang, di ba? Parehas lang sila ng tema sa Tanakh, sa Old Testament. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is unconquered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have ripped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud. Madaya kayo. Mga sahod ng mga empleyado nyo, hindi nyo binibigay. Kung may empleyado man kayo. Okay? And the cries of them which have ripped are entered into the ears of Yahuwah of hosts. Alright. Ito something different topic po, pero since nabasa natin. Nakita niyo po yung word na sabaot? Wala pong word na sabaot sa Greek. It's a transliteration ng Lord of Hosts na nababasa natin sa Tanakh. Alright? Wala pong ibig sabihin yan sa Greek, pero yung pag-translate nila, translate nila letter per letter, ang ginawa nilang Lord of Sabaoth. Okay? Pero wala pong word na ganun. Pero ang ibig sabihin po niyan, Lord of Hosts. Alright? Who is the Lord of Hosts? Psalms 24:10, who is the King of glory? The Lord of hosts, He is the King of glory. The Lord Yahuwah Shabbat. Siya po yan. Alright, so something na just to makita ninyo bakit ano yung Lord of Shabbat. So sinasabi niya rito, kayong mga rich men, yung yaman nyo sobra eh. Hindi nyo nakuha in equality, in fairness. Nag-oppress kayo ng mga tao. Nandaya kayo ng mga tao. Naririnig ng Panginoon. Sabi niya dun sa Book of Amos, hindi ko makakalimutan yan. Huwag niyong isipin na nakakapandaya, nakakaagrabyado tayo ng tao, is nakaka-gain tayo ng something na hindi nakikita ng sino man, naghihintay po ang Panginoon ng judgment para sa ating lahat. May judgment parang sa ating lahat. Ay, grabe lang yung liwanag ng salita ng Panginoon yun. And praise Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Mga kapatid, let's keep the Sabbath day holy. Make sure na nasusunod natin yung instruction ng Panginoon. Ang Panginoon ang bahala sa atin. Ang Panginoon ang bahala sa mga pangangailangan natin. You need to just to make sure na nasusunod natin yung mga utos niya. Salamat, sir.
Amen. Amen. Okay. So, we still have time. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 26. Verse 3. Again, inulit niya. If you walk. Now, take note. Napakadaming ifs dito. And madali lang tong intindihin dahil hindi po ako naninigarilyo. May mga usok lang na dumadaan sa araw ko. Nagdi-diffuse lang po. Alright. And this chapter has so many ifs. It's basically conditional. Kung susunod kayo, ito ang mangyayari sa inyo. Alright? So sabi niya, if you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them. Verse 4, sabi niya, I will give you rain. Ako magpapalago ng mga crops ninyo. Ako ang magbibigay ng increase sa land ninyo. And sabi niya dyan sa last part ng verse 5, and you shall eat your bread to the full. Lagi kang busog. Lagi kang may tinapay. Lagi kang may pang-bake. Alright? Lagi kang merong wheat, merong kang flour. Sabi niya dyan, and ang napakagandang pangako dyan, and dwell in your land safely. Wala kang kakatakutan, kahit wala kang bakod. Ang Panginoon mismo ang mag-iingat. Verse 6, I will give peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. Bakit? Unang-una, kung lahat sila sumusunod, walang magnanakaw. Walang mamamatay tao. Bakit? Lahat sumusunod sa batas ng Panginoon. Lahat may takot sa Panginoon. And pati yung mga hayop, siya yung may control. Sabi niya, I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. Verse 7, basically ang sinasabi niya sa verse 7 and 8, you will win wars. Kung may mga makikipag-away sa inyo, sabi niya dyan, and you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. Mangyayari ang lahat ng ito, verse 9, sabi niya, dahil meron akong respeto sa inyo. Napakaganda, di ba? Ang respeto, ino-earn yan. And ang Panginoon mismo nagsabi, for I will have respect unto you. Grabe yan. Ang Panginoon may respeto sa kanila. Bakit? Kasi sumusunod sila. Ang Panginoon ang mag-iingat sa kanila. Ang Panginoon ang magbibigay ng increase sa kanila. And sabi niya, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. Napakaganda lang isipin ko. Naalala niyo yung pinag-aralan natin about Yahukanon and yung kanyang parents na si Elisheba tsaka si Zacariahu, na ang pangalan nila makes, sabi, Yahweh remembers, Yahweh, ano pangalan, ano yung Elisheba, he remembers his covenant, di ba? Tapos si Yahukanon is the gift of Yahuwah. So, makikita natin na hindi pa rin yun. Hanggang ngayon, hindi nakalimutan ng Panginoon ang kanyang pangako. Ang kanyang covenant ay nandoon sa mga taong may takot sa kanya. We may not see what's happening, or hindi naman natin makikita itong 7-year Sabbats. Hindi na nga natin alam yung kalendaryo natin eh. Pero sabi ng Panginoon, akong bahala sa inyo. Ito yung sinabi niya, pangako niya to doon sa mga Israelita. Hindi pa sila nakakapasok ng promised land nito, ha? And ito yung napakaganda, sabi niya in verse 10, and you shall eat old store and bring forth the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. Hindi ko kayo kamumuhuyan, kasama niyo ko. Sabi niya, nandun yung mishkan ko. And verse 12, ito yung sabi niya, I will walk among you. Ito yung pangarap niya eh. Ito yung gusto niyang mangyari. When He established Adam and, ano pala niya? Kava. Sabi niya, nung in-establish niya itong lalaki at babae in the garden, He was walking with them. Nung nagtatago si Adan at Eva, He was walking in the garden, in the cool of the day. Pero anong nangyari? Hindi kasi pwedeng mag-mix ang Kodesh at yung fallen na doon sa kasalanan. Kailangan parehong Kodesh. Alright? Kadosh. So, sabi ng Panginoon, kung sundin nyo yung mga commandments ko, I will walk among you and will be your Elohim, and ye shall be my people. And then verse 13, na-remind niya sila, natandaan nyo, galing kayo ng Egypt. Ako nag-alis sa inyo dyan. Ako, yung sabi sa Deuteronomy chapter 32, I brought you out with eagle's wings. Now in verse 14, ito yung malaking if. Kung titingnan nyo, yung promises, generic eh. Generic. Kumbaga sabi ng Panginoon, basta ako bahala sa iyo. Huwag kayong mag-alala, ako bahala sa inyo. Pero kung titingnan nyo, from verse 14 onwards, detalyado po ito. Na pag hindi kayo sumunod at hindi kayo nakinig sa aking mga utos, idinitalye niya sa kanila. Eh makikita nyo, 4 na beses sinabi, yung 7 times na mas malala pa ang mangyayari sa inyo. Sabi niya, but if, napaka-importanting word, if you will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments. Bakit? Patapos na yung Wayikra eh. Nabasa na natin. Tuma, tahara, kohen, offerings. Nabasa na natin ang mga utos ng Panginoon. Nabasa na natin yung sa Exodus, yung Mishpatim, Teruah, ano yun? Basta lahat ng Torah portion na after nung Mount Sinai experience, binigay na niya yung commandments. Pagpasok ng Bamidbar, journeying na yan. So makikita nyo, sabi ng Panginoon, ito yung instructions. Bago tayo bumiyahe, ito yung instructions. Bago kayo makarating ng lupa, ito yung instructions. At kung hindi kayo makikinig, verse 15, sabi niya, and if you shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my mishpatim, alam mo yun, iniisip natin, bakit kasi kailangan mag-Sabbath year? Bakit kasi kailangan ganito? Bakit kasi kailangan ganito? Dinadoubt natin yung utos ng Panginoon. Eh may mga utos ng Panginoon na hindi natin maiintindihan. May mga bagay, especially with the offerings. There are things we may not understand with the offerings. Bakit kailangan pumatay na ganito karaming hayop? Ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. But ang hinihingi ng Panginoon is obedience. And lahat ng inutos niya ay hindi makakasama. Ang makakasama ay yung hindi pagsunod sa utos niya. It's not Yahuwah who curses us. It's ourselves who put ourselves in that curse. Because sabi niya, sumunod kasi kayo. Dahil kung hindi kayo susunod, ito ang mangyayari sa inyo. Anong sabi niya? Verse 16, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, burning ague. Lagnat yan. That shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. So basically, anong ibibigay niya? Diseases, sorrow, emptiness. Sabi niya, and you shall sow your seed in vain. Magtatanim kayo. Pero sinong kakain? Makakaaway nyo. Bakit? Kasi hindi kayo sumunod sa akin. Balik na lang natin yung statement na yun. Bakit nangyayari to? Kasi hindi kayo sumunod sa akin. Verse 17, I will even set my face. I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. Ano yung pangako niya kanina? Sabi niya, kung susunod kayo, wala kayong kakatakutan. Kahit yung mga hayop, ako mag-aalis dyan sa lupa. Pero sabi niya, pag hindi kayo sumunod, yung mga kaaway nyo ang mismong sasakop sa inyo. Sabi niya dyan, verse 18, and if, kung hindi pa rin kayo natuto, you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. So makikita mo, masaklap na yung 16 and 17. And sabi ng Panginoon, kung hindi pa rin kayo matutong makinig, multiply natin yan ng 7 times. Verse 19, and I will break the pride of your power. Balik tayo, Deuteronomy 8, anong sabi niya? Tandaan nyo kasi, yung kayamanan nyo, hindi kayo ang dahilan kung bakit kayo mayaman. Huwag niyong kakalimutan na ang Panginoon ang nagbigay sa inyo ng trabaho, ang Panginoon ang nagbigay sa inyo ng kayamanan, ng sweldo, ang Panginoon ang nagpapakain sa atin. Pero kung hindi tayo marunong sumunod sa Torah, bakit? Binuwag na ni Jesus Christ? Ay hindi yun yung sinasabi ng scriptures ko. Hindi yung sinasabi ng King James Bible. Ang sinasabi ng scriptures, kung hindi kayo marunong sumunod, I will break your pride. Verse 20, and your strength shall be spent in vain. Kahit gaano pa kayo kalakas. Sabi niya dyan, for your land shall not yield her increase. Yun yung matindi sa panananim eh. Wala kang control. Kahit ano pang pesticide ang ilagay mo dyan, kung hindi hahayaan ng Panginoon, magbunga yan. Hindi yan tutubo. Ang Panginoon ang nagpapatubo. Ang Panginoon ang nagbibigay ng buhay. Kaya dapat yun yung maintindihan natin kung bakit yun ang ginagamit na example ng Panginoon when it comes to harvest, when it comes to even the feasts, even the Moedim. It's talking about ako ang magpapaulan, ako ang magpapatubo ng inyong mga pananim. Sabi niya dyan, your strength shall be spent in vain. Bakit? Hindi naman tutubo yan eh. Hindi yan lalago, yung mga fruits. Mga bulok yan. Uuurin yan. Naalala niyo si Jonah? Yung uod, isang araw lang, kinain yung gourd. Verse 21. Again, if. Bilugan niyo lahat ng if. Para pag binasa niyo, maalala niyo, ito yung sabi ng Panginoon. Kung, if you will walk contrary unto me. Anong tinuturo ng Christianity ngayon? Walking contrary against the Torah. Sabi niya dyan, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times. Oh, ilan na to? 14 times na. More plagues upon you according to your sins. Yung verse 22, sabi niya kanina, yung mga hayop, hindi ko hahayaan pumasok sa inyo. Yung mga wild beast. Pero sabi niya, pag hindi kayo marunong makinig, I will send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children and destroy your cattle. Kakainin. Darating na leon, kakainin yung baka mo. Naglalaro yung mga anak mo sa labas, kakainin ng lobo. Naalala niyo si Elisha? Nung kinurse niya yung mga bata, anong kumain doon? Leon, di ba? Leon o lobo? Yung kakawala lang ni Elijah, tapos niloko-loko nila si Elisha. Kinain ng wild beast. Sabi dyan sa your highways shall be desolate. Verse 23, again, and if you will not be reformed, hindi kayo magbabago by me, by these things, but will walk contrary unto me, then will I also walk contrary unto you. Ito yung masaklap. Sabi ng Panginoon, sige, gusto nyo na kaaway? O, kaaway na tayo. Ayaw nyo sumunod eh. Sabi niya, then will I walk contrary to you, will I also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins. O ilan na? 21 times na. Verse 25, and I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when you are gathered together within your cities, I will send a pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. Napansin nyo, yung blessing, nasa mga 12 verses lang, 13 verses. Ay matindi yung curse. Yung curse, patong-patong eh. Nakatatlong 7 times na. Verse 26, and when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven. Kita mo? Parang tayo lang, nakikinood lang sa TV ng kapitbahay. Nakikiluto ng bread sa ibang bahay. Sabi dyan, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and you shall eat and not be satisfied. Bitin. Bitin yung pandesal. Di pa naman bitin yung pandesal dyan, no? Verse 27, and again, if you will not for all this hearken unto me. Eh, grabe ang kondisyon ng Panginoon. But walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury. Galit na. Kanina, sige, magkaaway tayo. Pero ngayon, magkaaway na, galit-galit na. Sabi niya dyan, and I will chastise you 7 times for your sins. Sabi ng Panginoon, sumunod lang naman kayo. Susunod lang naman sa batas. Verse 29, and you shall eat the flesh of your sons. Ganun na katindi ang famine. Ganun na. Eh, nangyari po ito sa Old Testament. Naalala niyo yung dalawang ina na lumapit sa hari ng Israel. Sabi niya, yung anak ko, kinain namin nung isang araw. Tapos sa usapan namin, nung susunod na araw, kakainin namin yung anak niya. Pero nawala na siya. Ganun, kataggutom. Ang ganun nakakatakot, magalit ang Panginoon. Na sa kanilang gutom, kakainin nila yung anak nila. Sabi niya dyan, in verse 32, I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Verse 34, mag-i-enjoy yung lupa ko. Ang tigas ng ulo nyo eh. Sabi niya, mag-i-enjoy yung lupa ko. Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate, and ye be in your enemy's land, even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbaths. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when you dwell upon it. Sabi ng Panginoon, hindi kayo sumunod? Sige, tanggalin ko kayo sa lupa, ako magpapapahinga doon sa lupa ko. Pero grabe pa rin ang biyaya ng Panginoon. Let's jump to verse 40. Sabi ng Panginoon, if they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass. Again, if, sabi niya, kung, which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised heart be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity. Sabi niya, if they shall confess, and if their uncircumcised hearts be humbled. Sabi niya sa verse 42, hindi ko nakalimutan yung covenant ko sa kanila. Then will I remember my covenant with Yaakov, and also my covenant with Yitzhak, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. Bakit? Lupa ng Panginoon yun eh. Kung babalikan niyo yung lesson natin kanina, lupa ng Panginoon, time ng Panginoon, space ng Panginoon, tao ng Panginoon, glory ng Panginoon, kanya lahat. Pero minsan, inaako kasi natin. Inaako natin yung lupa, inaako natin yung time, inaako natin yung glory, inaako natin lahat ng kayamanan. E nakakalimutan natin na may mga kapatiran tayo, meron tayong mga neighbors. Kaya nga, naalala niyo sa amin ng Panginoon, sino ba ang neighbor? May nagtanong sa kanya, di ba? Sino ba ang neighbor ko? Sino sinabi niya? Yung Samaritan na hindi sila magkakilala. Samaritan ang tumulong doon sa Israelite. Yung Levite hindi natulungan yung Israelite. Yung priest hindi natulungan yung Israelite. Sinong tumulong? Samaritan, Gentile. Hindi nila kaanak ang tumulong. That is your neighbor. And you shall love thy neighbor as thyself. Sabi niya dyan, balik tayo. Verse 43, the land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbath while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, even because they despised my judgment, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. How many people today say na wala ng batas ang Panginoon? His Torah is perfect, and it converts the soul. Pag naintindihan lang natin kung anong prinsipyo ang inuutos sa atin ng Panginoon, walang beta version ang batas ng Panginoon. Solid na yan. Perfect na yan. All we need to do is dig in and understand. Bakit ba may Sabbath year? Gusto niya mahalin natin ang isa't isa. Gusto niya hindi tayo maging capitalist. Gusto niya hindi tayo maging covetous. Hindi tayo dapat maging proud sa mga accomplishments natin, kundi ibigay natin lahat sa Panginoon. Sabi niya in verse 44, and yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away. Mga kapatid, ito na eh. Ito yung time natin. Panahon natin itong pangako. Leviticus pa lang na isulat na ng Panginoon na ibabalik tayo sa lupa. And nangyari na, mangyayari ulit, paulit-ulit lang eh. Sabi niya dyan, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am Ani Yahuwah Elohayka. There, Elohaykem. Anong kailangan kong gawin? If they shall confess and humble. Naalala niyo sa Romans, paano ka mananampalataya sa Panginoong Yahushua? Thou shalt confess with thy mouth and believe in thine heart. Ito yun eh. Sabi niya sa verse 40, if they shall confess their iniquity, and sabi niya sa verse 41, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and then they accept the punishment of their iniquity. Ito yung essence na sinasabi ni Apostle Paul sa Romans chapter 10. If thou shalt confess with thy mouth and believe in thine heart that Yahuwah raised Yahushua from the dead, thou shalt be saved. It's the heart that needs circumcision. It's the mouth that gives confession. Yan yun, di ba? Verse 40, you confess. Verse 41, your heart needs to be humbled. Because with the mouth, confession is made. And with the heart, believeth unto salvation. And with the mouth, confession is made. Nagkabalik-baliktad na. But, you see, verse 40 and 41 is actually the principles behind that. Nakuha po ba natin yun? Malinaw yun. Verse 45. Sabi niya, but I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their Elohim, Ani, Yahuwah. These are the statutes and judgments and Torah which Yahuwah made between him and the children of Yasharel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moshe. So basically, ano sabi ng Panginoon? Confess and circumcise your heart. Circumcise your heart and bumalik tayo sa batas ng Panginoon. And then chapter 27, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, as we have discussed earlier, pinakita ko sa inyo, it's offering. Balik uli sa offering. But offering of what? Bayaran? Or offering na hindi mo valuation, kaya po may valuation kapag bata, 5 years old, kapag 20 years old, na makikita nyo dyan, meron pong mga valuation kung magkano ang binigay mo. Kasi in verse 2, it says here, you make a singular vow, the person shall be for Yahuwah by the equivalent value. Alright? Equivalent value. So makikita natin dyan, may mga presyo po in shekels, pero makikita natin as it finishes. Okay? Balik tayo. Tapusin natin. Verse 30. And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is Yahuwah's. So lahat ng 10% na unang lumabas, una mong kinita, una mong nakuha, sabi ng Panginoon, kanino? Kay Yahuwah. It is set apart unto Yahuwah. Pinag-aralan na natin to, yung tithes and offering. Alright? We're living by the principles and understanding kung paano yung tithes and offering. Kung balikan nyo na lang po yung lesson na yon. And verse 31, halimbawa, hindi mo na ibigay yung tithes. Meron pa rin po. Meron pa rin batas ang Panginoon. Sabi niya, and if a man will at all redeem his tithes, he shall add thereto the fifth part. Halimbawa, nautang mo yung tithes mo. Okay? Meron, hindi naman, sin unto death. Pero, sabi ng Panginoon, you add a fifth part thereto. Okay? Verse 32, concerning the tithe of the earth, or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be Kodesh unto Yahuwah. He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it, and if he change it at all, then both of it and the change thereof shall be Kodesh, it shall not be redeemed. Verse 34, very important verse as we finish. Leviticus, Wayikra, sabi niya, these are the commandments which Yahuwah commanded Moshe for the children of Yasharel in Mount Sinai. So napansin nyo, nandun lang sila. Bago sila mag-launch out into the wilderness, anong ginagawa nila? Pinag-uusapan nila. Kumbaga, ganito yan eh. Kumbaga, nilabas sila ng Panginoon, ito yung instruction manual. Basahin nyo. Kasi kung hindi nyo babasahin, ay posibleng masira yan agad. Diba? Ganun din eh. Pumili ka ng appliance, pumili ka ng washing machine, di mo binasa yung manual, di mo binasa yung mga nakasulat sa harap, nilagyan mo ng 10 kilos, 5 kilos lang pala yung washing machine, ayun, sira. So, ganun din dito. Diba? Kung hindi natin alam lahat ng nakasulat doon sa Leviticus, at saka yung mga judgment niya, then, kung ano, nung doktrina, ang gagawin natin sa New Testament. Sa scriptures na sinasabi natin. Kaya nga po, napakasarap, pasalamat talaga sa Panginoon for allowing us to understand these things. And kung meron po kayong mga tanong with regards to the book of Leviticus, let me just post this back para makita niyo po yung summary uli. That it's a very detailed, sorry, nagkamali. Kailangan ko palang i-click lahat. Detailed summary of the book of Leviticus, and it's just amazing because yun nga, it's very well written and very organized. At gusto ng Panginoon na makasama po tayo. He wants us to be Kodesh, He wants our space, He wants our time, and He has His own guidelines. And remember, at the end, sabi ng Panginoon, you shall be kings and priests. We shall be kings and Kohen. So kung yun ang objective natin, bakit hindi natin simulan ngayon? Alright? So any parting words, Brother Gary, Brother Ivan, before we close?
Alright. Dapat hindi na natin pinag-usapan tong last chapter eh. Mahirap eh. Merong mga if. Pag hindi ko nasunod, may parusa pala. Ligtas na ako eh. May parusa pa rin ba ako? Pag hindi ko nasunod yung instruction ng Panginoon, yun po yung sinasabi ng scriptures eh. Ng King James Bible, yun po yung sinasabi. Pag hindi mo nasunod, merong consequences. Meron pong accountability.
Old Testament yan, Brother Gary.
Sabi ng Panginoon, sir, anong gagawin natin? Diba? Ito yung hindi na ituturo at hindi na i-discuss. Basically, sa mga simbahan kasi ligtas ka na nga. Pero malinaw po ang instruction ng Panginoon. Malinaw ang sinasabi ng Panginoon. Now, paano natin masasabi na wala na to, okay na to, tapos na to? Or paano natin nasasabi yun? Kasi lahat ng sinabi dito ng Panginoon sa last 2 chapter ng Wayikra, nangyari po lahat ito eh. Nakita nyo yung pinagkakain nila yung mga anak niya. Ang sabi diyan eto, verse 33 ng chapter 26, sabi diyan, "And I will scatter you among the heathen." Ano ang ginawa ng Panginoon nung hindi nila nasunod yung instruction? 700 years later, dumating ang Assyrian. 700 years or more, or so and so. Dumating ang Assyrian. Sinakop sila. Then after that, dumating ang Babylonian, sila ni Nebuchadnezzar. Sinakop sila. Pinaalis sila dun sa land. Pero grabe po ang pagmamahal ng Panginoon sa atin. Grabe ang biyaya ng Panginoon. Ano ang verse 40? Ito, pag tihanap niyo po sa ibang translation, yung verse 40 ng chapter 26, wala pong if. Pinapisay ng Panginoon that they will confess their iniquity and babalik sila. They will. Sinabi ng Panginoon yun, and this excites me na, wow, babalik pala talaga kami. Babalik kami sa Panginoon. Not everybody, pero ang gusto ng Panginoon, gusto niya tayo makabalik sa Kanya. Alright, let's see what isa sa mga sulat ni Prophet Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11. Verse 12. Sabi po dyan, "And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again the second time." Sino ang magbabalik sa atin? Ang Panginoon. Ang Panginoon ang nagbalik sa atin sa Torah ngayon, mga kapatid. Sa instruction ngayon na pinapakita sa atin kung gaano ka magnificent, kalalim itong mga pinag-aaralan natin. Itong salita niya. Sabi niya, his hand again, it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, from Patros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, from Hamath, from the islands of the sea, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Yazrael, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the 4 corners of the world, of the earth. Grabe ang pagmamahal ng Panginoon. Bakit hindi pa rin natin sundin? Bakit doon pa rin tayo doon sa mga if na ito ang mangyayari sa iyo? May parusa po, mga kapatid, hindi na tinapos na ng Panginoong Yahusha yan sa krus nung bumaba siya. Really? Hindi po ito ang sinasabi ng scriptures. Hindi po yung sinasabi ng mga propeta. It's a simple analogy, mga kapatid. Tinubos ka ng tatay mo, pinadala niya yung anak niya para hindi ka na magpatuloy sa kasalanan, para yung parusa ng kasalanan na dapat matatanggap natin na lahat ng sinabi rito sa chapter 2, sa chapter 26, sa last part ng Leviticus, hindi mo matanggap, and yet, you will continue. You will still disobey His Sabbath. Magkakanya-kanya pa rin tayo ng pananambahan. Magpapatuloy ka pa rin sa linggo. Magse-celebrate ka pa rin ng Christmas, mga kapatid. Magse-celebrate ka pa rin ng New Year, ng Three Kings, ng Easter egg. Maghahanap ka rin. Ay, grabe. Malinaw po sa scripture yung sinasabi ng Panginoon. Meron tayong kailangan gawin. Yes, may ginagawa. We may think that we're serving Yahuwah. We're serving God. But not according to knowledge. We may think na lagi tayo nagsisilbi sa Panginoon kasi araw-araw tayo nasa simbahan, nananambahan tayo sa Panginoon, nagsosoul winning tayo, or we do the things na akala natin is yun yung nakaka-please sa Panginoon, set by our pastors, by our preachers, or by the priests, by the Kohen. But is it according to the Word of God? Is it according to the scriptures na sinulat na? Nababasa naman po natin eh. So, pwede ko nang sundin yung siyam, yung pang-apat, wala na yan, tapos na yung sabat-sabat na yan. Pero yung siyam, tuloy-tuloy lang tayo dyan. Kasi utos ng Panginoon yan eh. Ganon ba yun? Ganon ka-importante pa sa Panginoon ang Sabat. Ganon ka-importante yung date natin sa araw na to, yung pagharap natin sa Panginoon sa araw na to, and to keep this day holy, mga kapatid. Alright, sa last part ng Wayikra, pinag-usapan yung tithes. And basahin natin yung sinabi niya sa Malakay. Yung laging kino-quote na verse sa pulpit, sa simbahan. Alright. Lagi niyo po maririnig to verse 6. Chapter 3, verse 6. For I am Yahuwah, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Bakit? May pangako ako eh. Ibabalik ko kayo. I will bring you back home, my children. Sarap talaga kantahin ng kanta na yan. I will bring you back home. I will set my hand again for the second time. I'm gonna gather you from all corners of the world. I change not. Kaya hindi pa tayo natatapos ngayon. Still, we are giving a chance, mga kapatid. Even from the days of your fathers, you are gone away from my ordinances. Hindi naman talaga natin nasunod eh. For 40 years, how many years that we defile our sanctuary? How many years that we worship on Sunday? How many years na kumain tayo ng mga abomination? And how many years na ino-oppress natin yung mga kapwa natin, na ginajudge natin yung mga kapwa natin, na nakikita natin sa kalsada na pupunta kayo sa impyerno pag hindi kayo sumama sa amin. Pag hindi kayo sumunod sa panalangin namin within 5 minutes, sa impyerno ang punta niyo. How many years we do that? We gone away from Yahuwah's ordinances and have not guided them. Ano sabi ng Panginoon? Balik kayo sa akin, please. Return unto me, and He will return unto us. Balik kayo. Hanapin niyo yung old paths. Balik kayo. Salamat sa Panginoon, itunuturo niya sa atin ngayon ang pabalik. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah. Let's keep the Sabbath day holy. Magkita-kita po ulit tayo sa mga susunod na araw, and marami pa pong ituturo sa atin ng Panginoon. Shabbat Shalom, mga kapatid.
Amen, amen. Brother Ivan, may gusto ko bang idagdag bago tayo mag-close? Alright.
Meron po, meron.
Ayan.
One verse lang po sa Leviticus chapter 25 sa verse 13. Sabi niya po dito, Leviticus 25 verse 13, in the year of this jubilee, he shall return every man unto his possession. So, pagdating ng jubilees, papabalikin sa possession o sa kanilang ari-arian. Hindi po ba picture ito ng pagbalik ng Panginoong Yahushua na ibabalik niya tayo sa promised land? Kasi after 40 jubilees, yan po ay 2,000 years, ang Panginoong Yahushua ibabalik. So it will happen. Pero i-celebrate po yun on the Day of Atonement sa pagbalik ng Panginoong Yahushua. So, yun lang po. I hope and pray na naintindihan niyo po.
Amen. Amen.
God bless you.
That's really, actually, maganda yan. Lalo na pag magaling kayo sa math, computin nyo na lang po. Because actually, we're nearing a jubilee. I've seen a lot of speculation that 2024 is a jubilee. 2029 might be a jubilee. I don't know which one. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi ako magaling sa math and I'm still studying calendars. But pagkausap ko si Brother Gary at si Brother Ivan, I told them that we are closer than we think sa pagbabalik ng Panginoon. I was thinking about maybe 200 years more, pero I think we are closer than we first believed. And kung i-analyze nyo po, kasi remember, sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi ako magaling sa math. I'll just give you estimates. Yahushua was born, just correct me if I'm wrong, around 3 to 4 BC. Okay? And he lived for 33 years. So if he lived 33 years, that's about 2029 or 2028. Okay? 2029, 2028. So, sorry, mali. That's about 29 AD. 28 or 29 AD. Okay, so just approximates. So if that's 29, 28 AD, 2020, sabihin natin 2029 AD is the 2000 year that Yahushua was crucified. Okay, that was the 2000th year. That's the anniversary. Around that time, hindi ko sinasabi eksaktong 2029 dahil unang-una, mali na nga yung kalendaryo natin. Pero that's approximately that time. So, ibig sabihin, malapit na bumalik ang Panginoon. And with the things happening around us, that in history, it has never been so weird. In the time that we have been alive and our parents have been alive, they can say that this is a very weird time to be alive. Na kung saan lalabas ka na yung mask mo, kailangan na natin yung mask mo, and it's a weird time. And earthquakes are there. Sabi ng Panginoon, these are just signs that you really have to be ready. And nakakakaba na isipin na malapit na, nakakatuwa in a sense na our redemption draweth nigh, nakakatakot because kung tayo yung masasali doon sa tribulation, pero may pangako lagi ang Panginoon. Remember His promises to Joshua, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Even His promise, Yahushua promised in the Great Commission, sabi niya, I will never leave you nor forsake you. I am with you always, even to the end of the world. So may pangako po ang Panginoon. Pero ang nakakaawa at nakakatakot mga kapatid, ay meron po tayong mga mahal sa buhay na hindi pa rin nakakaunawa, bulag pa rin sa katotohanan ng salita ng Panginoon, bulag sa Sabbath, bulag sa doktrina ng simbahan. Let's all pray for them. Because if it's closer than what we think, if it's closer than ever, ipanalangin po natin sila kung hindi kaya ng ating arguments, hindi kaya ng ating pag-share sa kanila ng salita ng Panginoon. Sabi po sa Zechariah, not by might nor by power, but only by the ruach of Yahuwah, saith Yahuwah. Sa pamamagitan lang ng ruach ng Panginoon, pwede silang ma-convert. Pwede silang ma-convict because ang ruwak po ang nagko-convict ng puso ng mga tao. So let's continue to pray and our prayers, let's be prayer warriors for our loved ones, sa mga nagpaskong mga kamag-anak natin kahapon, sa mga nagletsyon. Ipanalangin po natin sila. And let's live that example. Ipakita natin sa kanila, this is the light, this is the Torah, there is a God in heaven, and Yahweh is His name. So kailangan lang po talaga natin maging ready. Lalo na kung nagtanong ang ating mga kamag-anak, let's be ready to answer them. A good answer, all with grace, seasoned with salt. Give them the reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Walang yabang na kami yung tama. Hindi ganun. Hindi na ganun. And learn to love strangers. Learn to love one another. Learn to love yung mga nagkaka-COVID. Matuto tayong to feed the fatherless and visit the widows and visit the people who are sick. This is what Yahuwah requires of us. All right? Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And I'll finish with this. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. He hath shewed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee. What is good? Ano ba ang good ng Panginoon? You may think you're doing good. Doing good is following the instructions of Yahuwah. The principles. Find out the principles. Hindi lang yung by knowledge, alam ko yan mga batas ng Panginoon. Find out the principles of not oppressing your neighbor, not oppressing the poor, loving one another. Sabi niya, what is good and what doth Yahuwah require of thee? But to do justly is doing the judgments, the mishpatim, and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy Elohim. So basically, gusto ng Panginoon kung paano niya tinuro yung Torah niya in Exodus and Leviticus, yun yung sundin natin, not by not in a legalistic view, but in more of a spiritual view and more of something that comes from the heart na ito yung tinuturo sa atin ng Panginoon. All right? So tayo po ay manalangin. Brother Gary, please close us in a word of prayer.
Let's go to Yahuwah in prayer. Father Yahuwah in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thank you, Father, sa araw na to, sa inyong holiday, sa inyong sabat, Panginoon. Sa mga tinuturo niyo po sa amin, Panginoon, maraming salamat. Natapos na po ulit namin. Nakatapos po kami ng isang book, Panginoon. Ang book of Wayikra, ang dalangin ko, Panginoon, lahat ng natutunan namin sa inyong mga muidim, sa inyong mga utos, sa inyong mga instruction. I pray, Father, tulungan niyo po kami na mai-apply ito sa aming buhay. Yung pagmamahal na itinuturo niyo po sa amin, I pray, Father, tulungan niyo po kami na maging ilaw kami ng mundong ito, maipakita po namin sa aming mga kapwa. Ang dalangin ko, Panginoon, yung itinuturo niyo po kanina, huwag namin i-oppress yung mga mahihirap, yung mga yung mga mawalang kakayahan. And I pray, Father, yung mga kapatid ko na makakapakinig nito, dalangin ko po, tulungan niyo po kami. Ruach HaKodes, ipaunawa niyo po ito sa amin na mai-apply namin sa aming pang-araw-araw na buhay, Panginoon. Itinuturo niyo rin po sa amin na yung tithes ay para sa inyo. Salamat, Panginoon, sa pagbubukas ng aming isipan sa mga bagay nito. And I pray, Father, masunod po namin ito na naaayon po sa inyong kalooban na hindi lang po basta knowledge na natututunan namin, but most importantly, ma-apply po namin sa aming pang-araw-araw na buhay, Panginoon. Salamat, Panginoon, sa technology na ginagamit mo na nakakapag-aral po kami at tumagal sa inyong salita ng sabay-sabay. Salamat, Panginoon, sa mga kapatid ko na nandito ngayon na patuloy niyo pong tinuturuan, patuloy na hinahanap kayo, Panginoon. Salamat, Panginoon, sa kanila. And I pray, Father, kayo pa rin po yung patuloy na magbigay sa amin ng kalakasan, ng wisdom. Ruach HaKodes, kayo pa rin po ang magpaunawa sa lahat ng mga pag-uusapan pa namin sa mga susunod na araw. Napakarami pa po namin hindi alam sa inyong salita, Panginoon. And I pray, Father, patuloy niyo po kaming turuan. Salamat din po, Panginoon, sa eklesiyang ito, sa pahal na ito, Panginoon, na nagtuturo. Salamat sa aming preacher na ginagamit niyo po, Panginoon, para turuan kami ng inyong salita. And I pray, Father, patuloy niyo po pong protektahan yung buong pamilya po namin na hindi po namin kasama, mga nasa Pilipinas, nasa UAE, dito sa Saudi Arabia, sa ibang panig ng mundo, Panginoon. I pray, Father, yung protection para sa kanila. May mga kapatid kami na in-bandage ngayon, Panginoon, mga nasa trabaho. I pray, Father, kayo po yung magbigay ng desire sa kanila to keep this day holy and ibigay yung araw na ito para sa inyo, Panginoon. Salamat sa lahat ng ito, sa lahat ng pinapakita niyang Panginoon. I pray, Father, bless us and keep us. You make your face shine upon us, Panginoon, and ingatan niyo po kami. Ito po ang aming dalangin sa inyong dakilang pangalan, Father Yahuwah, sa inyong bugtong na anak, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen and amen. Hallelujah.
Amen, amen. Hallelujah. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned the new song. And we're excited once again to go to the wilderness. 2021, we'll enter the Midbar. And this week, Monday, we'll have a scripture study. And we have scripture study on Friday, Haftara for Fridays. So this is the last Sabbath of 2020. And I hope this year has been phenomenal. This year has been so wonderful. And maraming salamat sa mga, for all those that fear thee, all those that fear Yahuwah. Thank you for the companions that we have na patuloy na nag-aaral kasama po kami. And please spread the word so that other people can see the light in Torah. And pag natapos po natin to, Bimidbar Devarim, we can go back to Bereshit and just dig in deeper. Mas marami. And I believe sa mga bago, I know this is kind of medyo advanced or hindi naman advanced. I think you can cope up with what we're studying. Yun nga lang, may mga references from the past lessons, especially from Exodus and Bereshit na maaring hindi kayo makasunod. But I encourage you, just join us in our studies so that tuloy-tuloy lang po tayong aral. Hanggat may buhay tayo, mag-aral lang po tayo ng salita ng Panginoon. All right, Yahuwah bless you all. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you on Monday. Shabbat Shalom, and enjoy the rest of the Sabbath. Wala mo nang bibili. Remember to keep the Sabbath holy. All right, Shabbat Shalom, and see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Shabbat Shalom.